with countermeasures.
Though for now, Carney says he's not planning to coordinate with other countries on a response. Canada is exempt from the new reciprocal tariffs on many countries, but that's because of existing levies already announced, including new auto tariffs. President Trump says other countries have taken advantage of the U.S. during decades of globalization. Democrats argue he's raising prices instead of lowering them. Vice President J.D. Vance telling Fox,
"We know people are struggling. We're fighting as quickly as we can to fix what was left to us, but it's not going to happen immediately. But we really do believe that if we pursue the right deregulation, we pursue those energy cost-reducing policies, yes, people are going to see it in their pocketbook."
For now, though, global markets are rattled.
Many on Wall Street were betting that tariff threats were a negotiating tool for the Trump administration. Stocks sank after tariff plans were revealed. Morgan Stanley now says it does not expect the Federal Reserve to cut interest rates this year.
Fox's Jenny Cosola. Right now, the Dow is down more than 1,200 points. The latest round of severe weather now blamed for at least 7 deaths in the Mississippi Valley, mostly in Tennessee, with a trail of destruction in multiple states.
A devastating 24 hours across this part of the country.
Arkansas Governor Sarah Sanders.
We had at least 3 confirmed tornadoes that touched down in our state last night. A number of homes and structures damaged. Right now, we're still in assessment mode, but the rain is making that even more challenging and more difficult.
10 states on alert for possible flash flooding from heavy rain. America is listening to Fox News.
I'm still going for it, even with higher stroke risk from atrial fibrillation, an irregular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Over a 3-year study, Eliquis apixaban tablets reduced stroke risk better than warfarin, and over 97% of Eliquis patients did not experience a stroke. A first stroke occurred in 2.9% of warfarin patients versus 2.3% of Eliquis patients.
Don't stop taking prescription Eliquis without asking your doctor. It may increase your stroke risk. Eliquis can cause serious and in rare cases fatal bleeding. Don't take Eliquis if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or take longer for bleeding to stop. A spinal injection while on Eliquis increases risk of blood clots, which may cause paralysis, the inability to move. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding, unusual bruising, or tingling, numbness, or muscle weakness. Medications such as aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners may increase bleeding risk. Tell your doctor about all planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
Get set for an extended period of wet weather. This is not really a severe weather setup. It's just a lot of rain. Couple of thunderstorms around going through the afternoon. 62. Tonight, periods of rain. 48. Friday, periods of rain. 63. Saturday, periods of rain. Some thunderstorms. Chilly. 55. Sunday, rain ends by about noontime and a chilly 49. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Hi, I'm Bob Kershaw with Retirement Advisory Group. Are you worried about market volatility? Are you concerned your money won't last you through retirement?
Hi, I'm Tammy Kershaw, and as a family-owned business, we are committed to protecting your retirement, whether you're nearing retirement or already retired. We have a lot of folks that aren't aware of all the new investment choices that are available, which give you growth and protection from losses at the same time. Are you aware of all the fees that you are currently paying? We can show you how to avoid those fees. So come in now for your free retirement review and get a second opinion on your retirement plan. And just for coming in, you'll get a copy of our latest edition book, Your Key to a Worry-Free Retirement. Let us show you how to retire with confidence.
We are proud to say we haven't lost a penny of our clients' money in 39 years, and we won't lose a penny of yours either. Let our family help your family. Call us now at 314-993-9494 or go online to retirementkey.com. That's retirementkey.com.
Hey, baseball fans, I want you to take a swing at making some entries on all your favorite players. With Underdog Fantasy, baseball is back, and you can make opening day and every other game more exciting with Underdog Fantasy. It's one of the leading sports apps, and you can play in Missouri now. If you'd like to win 1,000 times your money, who doesn't? You can with Underdog. To play, It's real easy. All you have to do is choose whether a player will go higher or lower on a stat line. So for baseball, it's home runs, hits, and more. You can do the NHL with goals and assists. You can do basketball as well. You can play with as little as $1. If you get everything right, you can win up to 1,000 times your money with Underdog Fantasy. So get started today, create an account, and use the promo code MARKR. MARKR. That unlocks a special offer of up to $1,000 in bonus credits when you make your first deposit. Have some fun with Underdog Fantasy right now. Must be 18 plus and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Concerned with your play, call 800-GAMBLER or visit ncpgambling.org. Your home is your sanctuary. Get the peace of mind you deserve with a free estimate on a Generac home standby generator from Generator Supercenter. They're the nation's #1 Generac generator dealer. With expert installation and 24-hour monitoring, Generator Supercenter won't leave you in the dark. Financing is available. Take control of your power today with Generator Supercenter of St. Louis. Call 314-499-2020. That's 499-2020 or GeneratorSupercenterofStLouis.com. That's GeneratorSupercenterofStLouis.com.
When you're trying to find quality candidates, all the searching, screening, and interviewing can become a job itself. You need Indeed, the all-in-one platform that makes it easy to interview, screen, and hire quality people. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong. I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
Explain to us how you get manufacturing here, but also get the cost down for the American people.
Well, if you go back a little bit, Lawrence, remember during the first Trump administration, everybody said that Trump's tariffs were going to be inflationary back then. What actually happened? We had 1.5% inflation. We had the fastest growing economy in a generation, and we had the beginning of a manufacturing renaissance in the United States of America. Then, of course, we had 4 terrible years of the Biden administration. But I think it's useful for all of us to step back and ask ourselves, what has the globalist economy gotten the United States of America? And the answer is fundamentally it's based on 2 principles: incurring a huge amount of debt to buy things that other countries make for us. And to make it a little bit more crystal clear, we borrow money from Chinese peasants to buy the things those Chinese peasants manufacture. That is not a recipe for economic prosperity. It's not a recipe for low prices, and it's not a recipe for good jobs in the United States of America. For 40 years, we have gone down that pathway. We've seen closing factories. We've seen rising inflation. We've seen the cost of housing so high that most Americans can't afford to buy a home right now. President Trump is taking this economy in a different direction. He ran on that, he promised it, and now he's delivering. And yes, this is a big change. I'm not going to shy away from it, but we needed a big change, Lawrence. We cannot keep going down the Joe Biden globalist pathway where we have $2 trillion of peacetime debt and deficits. We have manufacturing disappearing. That is not working for Americans. We've got to take this country in a different direction.
Vice President J.D. Vance explaining the situation we're in right now because Donald Trump had the fortitude to follow through on what he said he was going to do during the election. A lot of people, I see this regularly on X, people keep saying, did you vote for this? And the answer so far has been emphatically yes, over and over and over again. But today, if you are looking at the stock market, you might be just have a little bit of trepidation that maybe you haven't had in the past regarding the effects of Donald Trump's policies. Welcome back to the Annie Fry Show. It's afternoon. We appreciate you being with us. Dry in St. Louis for right now. We know that there's weather coming in and out, just mostly lots of rain. So keep it here with us on 97.1 FM Talk, and we'll keep updating you throughout the course of the day based on what we are seeing with the reaction of the full day one of Donald Trump's tariffs being implemented. Fox News reports world leaders across the globe are reacting to President Donald Trump's Liberation Day tariff announcements, with some expressing disappointment and others making threats. On Wednesday, that's today, The president announced a baseline tariff of 10% on imports, in addition to reciprocal tariffs based on what each nation imposes on U.S. goods. Trump believes these tariffs will incentivize foreign investment in the United States and spur domestic job growth. While several U.S. allies articulated their frustration with the tariffs, they also expressed a lack of interest in launching trade wars. Many called for negotiations with the United States for new trade agreements. If you listened yesterday, Mark Reardon carried the Liberation Day event of sorts that took place right around 3 o'clock. Donald Trump in, I think, the Rose Garden, holding up signs that show, okay, here are the tariffs that are on the American people right now from the country. This is what they do to us. And this is, he kept saying it, the kind tariffs that he is going to, reciprocal tariffs that he's going to send back. He repeatedly commented about how it's very unfair what's been going on. In this speech that he gave, he would reiterate the fact that we are going to up what we're doing, but we're going to be kind about it. And I found it to be kind of an interesting word to involve in this entire situation, because I know that other countries, that other countries that are seeing this happen aren't feeling like this is really a kind gesture. But what Trump is trying to invest in right now is fairness, and he said that many, many times. For instance, the new reciprocal tariffs under the Trump administration for China, tariffs charged to the United States, 67%. The United States of America discounted reciprocal tariffs, that's how they phrase it, to China's 67% that they charge us, we are charging 34%. The EU, the European Union, their 39% that they charge us, we're charging 20% back. Vietnam, 90%, which, you see quite a few things that are made in Vietnam when you're consuming things. If you're going to, where you can buy a lot of things that are maybe a little bit more affordable than other places, it'll be made in Vietnam. They charge the United States 90%. 90% is the tariff that they put on us. Our reciprocal tariff at a discount is 46%. Taiwan, of course, you see a lot of that stuff. They're 64% to our 32%. So if you look at a lot of these, it's pretty measured in that usually we're at about 50% of what they are doing to us. And that is the new number that Trump is putting on a lot of these different countries. And he said he was going to do it. So it's not as though we should be sitting on the edge of our seats going, oh my gosh, what is he doing? I had no idea this was going to happen. I wouldn't have voted for him if he was going to actually go through this process and do this. He's been very consistent on what he wants to do, how he wants to level the playing field, and more importantly, how he wants to bring business back to the United States, manufacturing back to the United States, jobs back to the United States. He has also told us it's going to come at a cost. It's going to come at some tumult there in the beginning, and we're, looking right now, and it looks like the stock market was off. I've seen it floating between 4 and 5%. It's going to make people concerned. It's going to make people, especially considering your position in your life, more concerned than others. At 40 years old myself, when I am looking at the stock market and it dips, I think it's a buying opportunity. If you're somebody who, maybe you've met us at one of the retirement advisory group seminars and you are right at that position where you need to shift over into retirement thinking as opposed to saving and sacrificing thinking, you're probably worried about this. You're probably looking at this going, gosh, I hope that whatever happens bad recovers in time for me to not have to work another 2 years or whatever. I understand that too. Right now, the Dow is off a little over 3%. The NASDAQ's off about 5%. The S&P is off 3.83%. So everything's down. That's almost 1,300 points on the Dow. How will it finish? I don't know. Are you looking at your favorite stocks right now and thinking, I would like to scoop one of those up? Are you thinking that you want to be a buyer right now? Of course, that really depends on what kind of longevity you feel like you might have and the benefit you might take. Our YouTube poll for today is, are you spooked by the stock market? Yes or no? Do you look at the stock market? Because that's the story. That's the politics that's going to come out of this. Instead of listening to what Donald Trump is saying about tariffs and balancing out our relationships, with other people instead of thinking about what the plan is here and what Donald Trump has said that he's committed to doing. That is long term. He's made no bones about the fact that the efforts that he's willing to take for the outcome that he believes we can get is a process. And it's going to be said it in his joint address to Congress, the thing that looked like the State of the Union this year. He's like, it might be a little rough there for a second, but he was very adamant that these are the things that need to be done. Donald Trump has told us exactly what he's going to do on tariffs. He's told us exactly why, over and over and over again, why he wants to balance out trade and why he wants to bring what he refers to as the golden age of America to our shores through manufacturing, job creation, and production. This isn't a surprise. Now, if it's doing this in a year from now and we're wrapping up primaries across the country to run in a midterm election and there's no sign of the positivity of what he said, then I think that they're going to have a political problem on their hands. But right now, the Democrats are looking at that stock market and they're like, "Oh, it's payday for the Democrats. We get to bank some credit right now with the American electorate by pointing out the stock market right now. If it goes down, then they go out in front of cameras, on TV sets, on radio shows to talk about what's taking place in the stock market right now. Now, if you knew what was going to happen in the stock market in 3 weeks, 6 months, or even 5 hours, you'd be making some moves right now and probably making some money. Nobody really knows what's going to happen next, but the Democrats are going to try to make political hay out of the fact that the stock market is reacting the way it's reacting. And I would add that the Trump administration knew that the market was going to act the way it's going to react. So do you look at it and do you get all emotional about it? Does it spook you? Does it make you nervous? And again, I understand completely. If you're 60 years old and you look at it, your emotions towards it versus somebody who's 20 years old or 40 years old, it's going to be a little bit different. That's why you can leave us a comment on the YouTube channel. We want to know, are your emotions connected to what happens on the stock market? Does it spook you? Leave us a comment and tell us if you think if the nature of the stock market makes you maybe think a little bit less about supporting Donald Trump in this effort. I think we're going to this is probably the first really true test during President Trump's second term of the kind of support that Donald Trump has. Ryan, do you get spooked by the stock market?
I do. Yeah, I get a little nervous when I see big change like this happen. Anytime you have your money in the market, or if you have money in the economy, which is literally everybody in the country, you see this stuff and you go, well, where's this headed? But at the same time, I want to see the kind of change that J.D. Vance is talking about at the top of the hour there. I want to see us recalibrating everything. And it's going to take stuff like this sometimes to do that. Whether it goes the way that he is planning, that's what remains to be seen. I'm a little spooked. I think everybody, to some extent, is a little bit like, oh, okay.
Are you surprised?
I'm not surprised, no. But it just makes me a little nervous. And I would say that that's probably the majority of people. If you have any money in the market, you go, well, I believe in change. I believe that we need to be doing something differently because the way we're managing it now isn't working.
Sitting on our hands, doing nothing, doing the status quo, continuing to go down the path that we're doing, we know where that heads. And if it's kind of what is that called when it's Stockholm Syndrome. That's what I was saying. Yeah.
Gotcha.
It's like when you...
Speaking of stocks.
Yes, this is stock syndrome. When you're comfortable with what you think you know and understand, why isn't it knock you off your chair when you pull up the debt clock?
Exactly.
Like, that's scarier than the stock market today.
Yes, it is.
So if you look at the debt clock and you see these numbers tick up at the speed with which they go up, the Doge clock is the first time I've ever seen anything on there that indicates that it could possibly go the other direction. I do wonder if, you can't bat 1,000. You can try. You should try. You can't bat 1,000, but I do wonder how much of a missed opportunity it was to get the tax cuts locked in before the tariffs went into play, but we just didn't have the votes. They have a 7-seat majority now in the House. Granted, they've passed this stuff. The Senate needs to get off their tuchus and get in there and get the job done. But this is, I keep reminding myself, as big as this tariff situation is, I keep reminding myself that this is like maybe a third of the pie. You've got the tax cuts along with the potential, think about this. Think about the possibility of bringing back American manufacturing and jobs here back to the United States. And then imagine being like, oh, and by the way, when you start working and we needed to get cranking on this thing, we're not going to tax your overtime.
Yeah. That's the kind of reform that we're talking about.
I wish I would have known. I was listening to it yesterday. It might have been Lutnick.
Probably.
You should know. Was talking about implementing trade education as a part of this bigger picture of the golden age in America of being at the ready to train people in the trades so that we have good people that can get good jobs and we have the jobs to provide them quickly. If you learn a trade right now and the manufacturing does come back to the United States the way Trump is saying that it's going to, if you learn that trade, if you have that trade, if you become a skilled worker and there are companies all over the place looking to hire people, dude, you are going to be a hot commodity, which means money in your pockets, benefits at your disposal, and a future that is very, very bright immediately.
You're a hot commodity right now if you're under 40 and in the trades.
Yeah.
Let alone, I love the fact, whether it was Lutnick or not, that the administration is thinking down the line that far.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you start bringing back that much manufacturing, we got a trades problem as it is. If you start bringing those jobs back here, we're going to need 3 times the amount of those people. So the fact that they're even going, okay, let's start ramping that up now too, just shows me that they're thinking long-term about everything they're doing with this short-term pain that we're experiencing.
Well, let's take a break. We're going to speak with Hans von Spakovsky when we return. Great to have him back with us, Senior Legal Fellow at the Heritage Foundation. I want to talk to him about the... We every time we have a legal person on here, it's like, oh, the judges, they're trying to stop him at every turn. Yes, I get it. I understand. I'm going to ask him also about what kind of congressional responsibility that the folks like Rand Paul and his Democrat counterparts, I think it was Spakovsky and Collins and one other Republican.
McConnell?
It was McConnell. Did you see him getting wheeled into a car yesterday?
Yes.
He's not well.
No.
Ugh. They don't want the president to be doing the things that he's doing right now. These tariffs, they don't like it. There are other senators in the Republican Party that are saying this is not free trade. This is not what we're here for. Does Congress have a responsibility here? Well, let's count that first when we come back.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
But for some unknown reason, nobody wants to play them tonight.
Stuart's American Mortgage and the Bagel Loan, he's got it right there ready for you. 314-324-4440. 314-324-4440. When you call or text him at that number, you're going to be able to access the approval process to get the Bagel Loan, which means your next mortgage, be it a new home purchase or if it's a refinance of your home right now, your next mortgage, $0 in closing costs. Especially when it comes to refinances, people definitely will put that off. Okay, rates are a little bit lower than when I locked it in last time. And you're like, but then I got to pay all the money to go through the refinance process. It's not even really worth it to save. Well, this is why you do the Bagel Loan. This is why I did it twice as a refinance, because when you call or text 314-324-4440, that's 314-324-4440, and you talk to my friend Stewie, he's going to be able to set you up, lock you in a lower rate if it's available to you, and you aren't going to have to pay any of those closing costs to go through that process. Kind of a no-brainer. 314-324-4440. Google the Bagel Loan for more information. NMLS number 226715.
If you're a homeowner, it's time to upgrade your windows with Window World. Mark Cox here. I am a satisfied customer. I love the windows they put in my house, and there's a reason they're ranked number one in the number of windows sold in this country by Qualified Remodeler magazine. They have that lifetime warranty. It covers all the parts, the glass breakage, the labor. You don't have to worry about it anymore. And in over 20 years in business, they have improved the look and the thermal efficiency of over 76,000 customers in the greater St. Louis area. Window World is now offering 36 months, same as cash financing, with approved credit. And I think the customer service sets them apart from the rest of their competition. And they have an excellent track record with the Better Business Bureau. They've also raised a lot of money, over $3 million for local and national charities. So be sure and check them out. Call them at 314-993-1800. Tell them Mark Cox sent you. You can also go to windowworld.com.
Are you having trouble hearing? Hearing loss can devastate the quality of your life. Now, there's an affordable fix for you or your loved one. Rated the best hearing aids of 2025 by Forbes Health, Audion Hearing has the highest quality hearing aids at the lowest prices, just $189.
I actually like them better than my old $5,000 hearing aids.
I could not believe how my hearing and life changed.
Join over 1 million happy customers by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
Listen up, fellow Gen Xers. Elizabeth Banks here. The recommended age for pneumococcal pneumonia vaccination has been lowered to 50 and older, even if you're healthy. It's up to us to lead the way. We've done this before. Music videos, fanny packs, even the World Wide Web. Let's do it again and get vaccinated, because we're at over 6 times greater risk for pneumococcal pneumonia. Gen X, this is our shot. Visit vaxassist.com and schedule a vaccine today. Sponsored by Pfizer.
You're listening to the Annie Fry Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Air Comfort Service is hiring licensed journeymen. Don't have a journeyman license? Air Comfort Service will help you get it. Get guaranteed hours year-round and more. Apply online at aircomfortservice.com.
There's still time to join us for a fish fry, so if you haven't yet, we'll be at St. Mary Magdalene Church in Brentwood this week. If that's your area, stop by and say hi. The whole gang will be there from the show. It's the Mark Reardon Show's Fish Fry Fridays, continuing this week in Brentwood.
This is the Annie Fry Show. Follow Annie on X at Annie Fry Show.
Stand face to face with the younger me. All of the mistakes, all of the heartbreak. Here's what I do differently. I'd live like I'm not scared. Give when it's not fair. Live life through another. Take time to remember.
Welcome back to the Annie Fry Show. We appreciate you being with us this afternoon. Kind of about to be rainy day in St. Louis once again. But we're glad that you got 97.1 FM Talk on the radio dial, or you're streaming us on the Odyssey app. We appreciate that very much. We're trying to get a hold of Hans von Spakovsky. Looking forward to having a conversation with him about everything that's going on right now in Congress, trying to push up against the tariffs that Donald Trump has implemented. Were you surprised to see, Ryan, as many of the Republicans be politically active and oppositional?
I was very surprised, although the list of who it wasn't surprising. It was still a little bit of a shock to see them coming out so strongly against the president's plan, especially like you said in the last segment, when the president ran on this. It wasn't as if this was a surprise.
Yeah. And I think the whole time he was talking about it, everybody was like, okay, if you say so.
Yes, exactly.
I mean, if you're an economist, like we had Charles Gasparino on yesterday, he didn't blow smoke. But he did say that this is the most transformational, 2 months he's ever seen. It's outrageous, not outrageous in a bad way, but just mind-blowing to see how much economically this administration is trying to come in and change the game. And, it's important for people to understand that if you want big changes, you're going to have to do big things. And Trump is unafraid of it, campaigned on it, got elected on it, and now he's doing it. What happens next? Let's talk to our friend Hans von Spakovsky. He is a senior legal fellow at the Heritage Foundation, a former FEC commissioner, DOJ lawyer as well. Hans, welcome back. Happy Liberation Day +1.
Yeah, and he didn't do that on April 1st, so he didn't do it on April Fool's Day, although probably the Europeans wish he had.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Hans, I wanted to ask you about like when it comes to declaring war, those are powers that my understanding is belong to Congress. So the president can't declare that. There are things the president can do from a defense mechanism and the commander in chief. But we have a separation of powers. We have checks and balances till the day is long. We've seen senators, Republican and Democrat, come out and try to take action against Trump's tariff implementation here and maybe rein it in a little bit. What kind of responsibility or rights do Congress have in the president's tariff plan?
Well, he's acting under a federal statute. I mean, the whole reason the president, this is not a constitutional issue. The whole reason the president is able to impose tariffs is because there's a federal law giving him the ability to do that. So if Congress, members of Congress want to somehow change what the president is doing, they're going to have to amend the statute. And I somehow doubt that they could, even if they could get something through the Senate, I don't think they would get it through the House. And then if it arrived on the president's desk, what do you think? You want to bet that he would veto it? Of course not.
Yeah, I presume that he would, with the biggest Sharpie marker he could possibly find, veto that. Hans, right. So just take a quick walk here with me, because I keep hearing people say that a tariff is a tax. And when I think of that, and I think about separation of powers and the different branches of government, my recollection, and you are an expert on this, which is why I'm bringing it to you, is the Affordable Care Act, when we go way, way, way back, was ruled to be constitutional because they said that the Affordable Care Act was in fact a tax, and Congress had the ability to tax, so therefore it was constitutional, even though we were told the whole time that Obamacare wasn't a tax. Like the politics behind all of it was, this isn't a tax, this isn't a tax. And then it turns out the fact that it is a tax is the only thing that made it constitutional. When we keep hearing people say that a tariff is a tax, is that the boldface, textbook definition of what a tariff is? Or is that just what they're trying to say from a more political, economical position?
No, I think I think they're doing that from more of a political position. And look, everybody's saying, "Oh, this is terrible, but I think folks are missing the point that these are what are called reciprocal tariffs. In other words, the president has said to all of these different countries, listen, if you'll reduce your tariff that you impose on American goods, we'll do the same. He's not picking countries at random and saying, oh, we're going to put a tariff on all your goods coming in. If you look at the list that he came up with, all of these other countries, we allow their goods to pretty much come in almost freely into the U.S. Yeah, some of them have small tariffs, but all these other countries put on huge tariffs on our goods. I mean, one of the reasons, or the one that struck me the most, was that in order to keep our farmers from shipping their dairy products, Canada imposes, I think the number I saw was a 270% tariff on American cheeses, American milk going into Canada. Why in the world would we allow Canada to just ship their stuff into us without wanting to do something about it?
Is it wrong to say, I mean, is it the fact that this is the way the system has been for so long? It almost seems like American charity that we've been willing to pay tariffs in the way they've been charged against us for so long, that to level the playing field, I mean, we have what I would assume a much larger consumer base than the vast majority of these countries, that if you are to take, you said, what was it, 270% on cheeses or something like that? Like if you level that out and make it fair, that the economic boon that this has been from the United States going into Canada would be significantly decreased. Donald Trump just wants to make it fair. Right. Is this just American charity that we've been allowing up until this point to just give all of this money away in an imbalanced structure?
Yes, but it was a deliberate policy instituted after the end of World War II. What a lot of people don't realize is that we made a lot of efforts to organize world trade after World War II to help all of the economies that had suffered so much. China having been attacked by, destroyed by the Japanese. Europe having been destroyed in World War II. We got rid of the many tariffs that we had because we wanted to encourage free trade and to help the economies of those nations. We were wildly successful. We were so successful that the changes we made should have ended 40 years ago. All of these countries who use these high tariffs to try to regenerate their industries, their agriculture, they've been wildly successful. And yet in all this time, we've just let this go on and on and on. We let all these countries trade freely into our economy, and yet we don't do anything about the fact that they do everything they can to keep our products out of their country.
And, in the midst of all of this imbalance, I think that the craziest part to me is certainly the amount of debt that the United States has, the amount of money that yes, we're a wealthy nation, but when you look at the United States debt clock and you see that it is it's close to $37 trillion of debt. If we were taking better care of what we were doing at home, then maybe some of this could be a little bit more workable for our country to be able to have these imbalanced tariffs. But we don't have the money to do it, it seems.
No, that is exactly right. And frankly, that's one of the reasons our debt has gotten so large. I believe in free trade, but it hasn't been free trade. I mean, that's the whole point that I think everyone is missing in this argument is we haven't had free trade. When we allow European-built cars, BMWs, Mercedes, all these cars to come in to the U.S. with a very nominal tariff on it, and the Europeans put a huge tariff, much larger, on our cars when Ford or GM try to export them. That is not free trade, and the president is trying to fix it. That's why, again, he's calling them reciprocal tariffs, because if the other countries reduce their tariffs on U.S. goods, we're going to do the same thing.
Hans, before I let you go, I do want to give you the opportunity to talk to us a little bit about a lot of the judicial activism that has taken place against Donald Trump, specifically these judges. How do we keep judges from filing nationwide, implicative rulings that affect massive things outside of their district specifically? Is there a way to stop that from happening? And I'm also curious, tying that into the tariff conversation, do you feel as though there's any sort of constitutional question mark where maybe we see a judge issue an injunction against tariffs by the end of the day against Donald Trump?
Well, they can try, but that will be the wrong thing to do. Yes, Congress is so concerned about this that this week they had hearings on it in the House. And in fact, they were going to have a vote on a bill that Congressman Issa had put forward that then got canceled. You may have heard that because of a fight over proxy voting, Congress went home on Wednesday. The House did, and they didn't have votes. But the proposal that's being made, which would actually solve a lot of this problem, is, remember, the problem is these single rogue judges, liberal judges in places like Northern California and New York. So this bill would basically change the law and say that if you are challenging presidential actions, that lawsuit has to be heard by a 3-judge panel, 3 judges. And if the government loses or anybody loses, whoever loses will then get a direct appeal to the U.S. Supreme Court, skipping all the different courts of appeals. So you're not going to have one lone wolf judge. You're going to have 3 federal judges, so hopefully you'll get better decisions. And it's going to go straight to the Supreme Court so they can make a decision on it. And it won't be optional for the Supreme Court whether they take the appeal or not, which is usually the case. They have to take the case. They have to make a decision.
Yeah, it seems as though they're going to have to do something to try to move this along if they want to stop this from happening, because I presume the Democrats will do this for the rest of Trump's term. It worked to use these activist judges in that fashion. I wanted to ask you one other question before we let you go. We spoke with Will Chamberlain last week, I think it was. Maybe it was at the beginning of this week. And he proposed, I asked him this question, and I can pose this broad question to you, but I want to give you a little bit of detail of what he followed up with. I asked, you know what? Is there any possibility that the Republicans would come up, or that Donald Trump would come up and start discussing packing the Supreme Court? Because the Democrats, that's always kind of lingering as it break glass in case of emergency situation. And what Will Chamberlain suggested was that what the Republicans in the Senate should do is propose an amendment to the Constitution that codifies 9 justices on the Supreme Court. And if the Democrats vote against it, then the Republicans should pack the Supreme Court. And I wondered what you thought about that.
Well, I don't think anybody should pack the Supreme Court, but I actually think it might not be a bad idea to put in a constitutional amendment fixing the court at 9 justices. Because right now, that's just a matter of federal law, because if you look at the Constitution, it doesn't say a word about how big the court should be.
Yeah. I wonder what the Democrats would be more scared of, these 9 justices or the possibility of not being able to be the ones who actually do the court packing. Because, they're always bringing it up. Joe Biden has had various opinions on that as well. Hans, thank you for being with us today. Hope you have a great Thursday.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye-bye. Get a little chuckle out of Hans von Spakovsky.
Yeah, but in the midst of the chuckle, you go, no, wait a minute. That's a pretty darn good idea.
You could kind of hear it in his voice.
I hope so.
Will Chamberlain. I've enjoyed that.
I do too.
Every time I remember that, I'm like, do it.
It needs to be talked about more.
I'm trying.
Thank you.
I'm doing what I can. Oh man, it would be so fun. It would be so fun to watch the Democrats pick a side.
Yeah. And they would have to.
They'd have to.
That's the point of it.
You can't wait too long to do it. Like if you're like, okay, well, we're going to make it 12.
You got to do it now.
Then you have to do it now because
Yeah.
you have to go through 3 Supreme Court justices, and you want to do it before the Senate turned over into, or it was an election issue.
But now is the perfect time to do it because the Senate map does look favorable for Republicans again.
I'm just saying you wouldn't want to do it when people can go to the ballot box with that in question.
Yeah.
Make the amendment in 2025, lose the election in 2026, and whoop.
Yeah.
That's not what you want. Quick break. When we come back, Wiggins America, ways to avoid addiction. Are you an expert on this?
Well, this is a real conversation, but it's based on kind of a goofy thing that happened this weekend to me. So,
All right. Ryan Wiggins and Wiggins America next on The Annie Fry Show.
This is The Annie Fry Show. The Annie Fry Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
The Didamore Group online at, you guessed it, thedidamoregroup.com. This is the place to go to list your home. If you're thinking about it, maybe you're not 100% sure you want to do it right now. Maybe you're just curious. Maybe you've been working really hard and you're waiting for the right time, and a lot of question marks exist, but a lot of those question marks can be answered by having a conversation with the experts at the Didamore Group that can help you understand, okay, this is what you can expect to get out of your home. This is the time frame you could expect to get a sale. With every home sold with the Didamore Group, a donation is made in the name of her client to Children's Miracle Network. I think that's a really cool thing that they do in order to give back to their communities. And these communities, they know the ins and outs, the nooks and crannies of the communities that they help you buy and sell in like nobody else. They are fantastic at understanding the school situations, populations, recreation, entertainment, home values, the growth potential that you might have for the home that you're looking to purchase. So if you're looking to sell, looking to relocate, reach out to the staff at the Dinamore Group because they're the best. The number one team and the number one office in the Metro East is a phone call away, 618-531-4652. 618-531-4652, online at thedidamoregroup.com.
When Greg Hammonds at greghammonds.com talks to people about health insurance, they tell him, 1, my premiums are too much. Number 2, my deductible is so high I never meet it. And 3, my doctor doesn't accept my plan anymore. Greg offers private health insurance plans that are not on the ACA marketplace. You can pick your doctors. For most claims, you won't even pay a deductible, and they're 30 to 60% lower cost than Obamacare. One more thing, there's no tax penalty at the end of the year. Greg even has plans that are guaranteed acceptance and available all year long, so you can enroll today. If you pay for your own health insurance, you're uninsured, you're on COBRA, or your employer coverage is just too expensive, call Greg at 314-794-7784. That's 314-794-7784. Or go to greghammonds.com. That's greghammonds.com. He can custom design a plan managed and chosen by you, not the government.
You never got a sense of how big the community was until we all pour into this auditorium. 4,000 or 5,000 people. We're all here for the same reason. Real estate investing, living the lifestyle.
That's April on her Expo experience. It's coming again. Join Del Walmsley and Lifestyles Unlimited for Expo 2025, May 7th through the 10th in Irving, Texas. Get hands-on training from successful real estate investors and learn proven strategies that work. Find out more and save $100 when you text EXPO to 88007, EXPO to 88007.
Need a lawyer? Onder wins. Call Onder Law at 314-9-MILLION. That's 314-9 all zeros. Or go to onderwins.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
Hey, it's Tom Ackerman. Where do you go for your annual eye health examination? Ophthalmology Associates, of course. Doctors Greg Birdie and Ranjan Malhotra. Dr. Robert Bersati, he's the one I saw, or Dr. Andrew Royer. They are available to you and are there to take care of all your vision needs at Ophthalmology Associates. They're on Manchester Road, a half mile west of 270. Your vision is their business at Ophthalmology Associates. In fact, many of their patients are doctors themselves. That's why they call themselves the doctors, Ophthalmology Associates. Are your eyes itchy and scratchy? It could be more than just allergies. They're the leaders in dry eye diagnosis and treatment. They're the leaders in LASIK and discussing those procedures. And if you're having difficulty reading or driving at night, you have glare from oncoming headlights, could be early signs of cataracts, and they can talk to you about multifocal lens implants. Ophthalmology Associates, youridoc.com.
Are you spooked by the stock market? That's today's question. Yes or no? Are you spooked by the stock market? It's the YouTube live chat poll, and we will be watching that throughout the show. You are invited to vote and comment right now by typing in Annie Fry on YouTube and finding today's date with our live stream there, and that's where you vote. 1247. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
It's election season, and you need the facts before you vote. Mark Cox here. Get my April 2024 Voters Guide, your go-to source for key races, candidates, and issues. Download it at 971talk.com.
This is the Annie Fry Show. Follow Annie on X at Annie Fry Show.
Wiggins!
Oh, Wiggins!
I wanted to talk a little bit about addiction with you guys. It's a very, very serious topic, but a weird kind of story that got me there this weekend. A group of guys came in that I've been friends with for a long time over the weekend to celebrate one of their wives turning 40. And so I knew that Sunday was going to be an all-day hang out with the guys day, and with his wife too. She was the one having the birthday. But we went to the Cardinals game, and we went to a local bar afterwards, and we're just hanging out. And I had to drop people off, came back to the bar, and all three of my friends were playing video poker. And I thought, oh, man, I've never really played video poker.
Like at the bar?
At the bar, yeah.
That's for money.
For money. Yeah, it's real gambling.
Are you playing other people?
No, you're just playing against the machine. And, you're playing against the algorithm, basically. Because it's not even an old-fashioned slot machine where the things...
I wouldn't want to play money. I would never trust a computer.
That's where I've always been.
Yeah, me too.
The intriguing part of playing poker to me is the psychology and the
you're playing the man.
It's just like reading people and being able to play your card. I mean, you know when to hold them and fold them.
Yeah.
If it's a computer, even if I play a computer in Yahtzee, I'm like, oh, sure, you got a Yahtzee.
That's very true, though. And that's been I'm not really a big gambler. We had the casino question the other day for the next question segment. But so none of us are really big gamblers. And I've never really been enticed to gamble. But when I saw my friends sitting there just kind of hanging out, they were just having fun and spending a few bucks doing it just to have something to do while they were hanging out. I thought, maybe that would be kind of fun. But I didn't really do it until I saw one of my friends put $20, maybe $40 into a machine. And it was one of those, there's a name for it, where it rolls, where the jackpot keeps getting bigger, but then it didn't quite tip. And it got to the point where it was big, big, big.
Oh, really?
And
how exciting. That's like playing lottery bingo. Lottery cards, and it's like I was so close to $250,000. There's just one number away.
But it's not even that you have to win the big prize. It's just that you're going to win something if this thing finally overflows.
Mm-hmm.
And it was right at the verge. And I'm like, well, shoot, if I'm ever going to do it, this is the time to do it. So I put $20 in, and I said, I'm not even going to spend 20 because I only had a 20. I said, I'm going to spend $10. If I don't hit that thing by $10, I'm pulling out, and I lost $10. No big deal. First spin, boom, hit it.
So what'd you win?
It goes into like this bonus round, and then you just kind of you're just playing a computer, so it keeps enticing you to keep going. But you're not spending any money at that point because you already hit the bonus round. So I ended up winning about $80.
Of poker?
It's the slot poker. It's like slots.
Okay, so you're not playing poker.
No, not poker. It's video gambling.
Okay.
And so I ended up winning $80 on a $1 investment.
Yeah?
I was like, wow, this is incredible. And then I thought, okay, now I got to walk away, though. Otherwise, I'm being just like all the people who don't play this smart. So I did. I cashed out, and I walked away. Well, then my other friend, he's sitting there, and he's put probably $100 in this machine, and it's right on the verge. And then he walks away from it. I'm like, oh no.
You don't have any friends anymore, do you?
Oh, no. now I got to sit down at that machine. So I said, I'm going to put, now this is all house money now. I'm going to put $20 on this one. And that one did not hit, so I lost $20. But I felt something at the end of that I have never felt before. That
Shame?
I was like, I need to keep playing that game. And I got afraid. I was like, whoa, man, that's not in you. But it was really, it was right there.
Do you have an addictive personality?
I might, but I avoid that stuff. But that's probably why I do it, is I avoid it because I know, if it catches, I'd really go all in.
Like in seriousness, would you say you're addicted to sugar?
Yeah, I think so. Except that I have done diets before where I'll take a whole month and just purge. So I know that I'm not so addicted.
Purge sugar.
Purge sugar, yeah.
Not like...
not go throw up.
Since you're talking about diets, let's clarify what we do and don't do.
I'll get rid of sugar for a month. I haven't done this in about a year and a half, but I can do it.
I think most Americans are addicted to sugar.
I think so.
More than they realize.
But it's harder with things like food because you have to eat food. You know, with something like this, I could just avoid ever going around it again. And I will, because I really did. I mean, a moment of honesty, I felt that pull. That I'm like, that's exactly how you get addicted to this stuff. And I wanted to keep going. I wanted to go for that big one. And so I said, no way. I got to stop right now.
If you would have won, would you have won more than $80? Do you know?
You don't really know what you'd win. You just know that you'd win something much bigger than whatever you put in. So I had to walk away. And it made me start to really think, man, is this what it's like if you're addicted? Like you just keep going back to it no matter what. And, of course, everybody has different ways that they could define addiction. But I figured I'd look into and just share some of the ways to avoid those trigger points which is what I was actually looking to do is avoid a trigger point for if that would become a problem with me. And the first one is figuring out.
What is this from?
This is from an addiction website. It's like a place where people actually go to that place.
Like, can you give us this one?
Yeah, it's called Dove Tree Ranch. So it's an addiction.
Like a rehab?
Yeah, it's a rehab facility. So they say, ask yourself, when do these trigger points hit you the most? Because sometimes it'll be throughout a certain day or when you're around certain people, but when is a big question, because then you can identify, oh, that's when it gets me a lot, is when I do blank. That's the first one. The second one is avoiding stress. Because if you are stressed, you're going to seek a relief from that stress. So if you can somehow figure out either how to avoid stress or how to alleviate that stress in a different way, that would be another key point. Number 3, very, very important. Pull in others for help. For some people, addiction triggers relate specifically to people. Being around the actions of one person can cause you to lose track, but also bringing in people who are not a part of that, whatever that is for you, is very, very important. This would be not just this, but it could be your church group. It could be a men's group, a women's group for you, or an accountability partner. Brad could probably speak well to that, being a pastor or youth pastor, that having an accountability partner for a lot of things is very, very important.
Yeah, accountability partners are basically they're there to keep you accountable. Somebody that you know that you can trust, because like the biggest fear then is like if you've got an issue, those people might quote unquote share your issue and embarrass you in front of people. So it's somebody you can trust that will help you through that.
Last couple here is number 4, stay busy and motivated. This seems like kind of a workaround to me, but it does work. If you are constantly so busy and you're doing other things, maybe putting your time more into other things, hobbies and stuff, you're not going to have as much time, or your mind's not going to be wandering. And then last is just keep learning and figuring out your patterns. I think these can really apply to any addiction. And it's one of those things that, man, we just don't talk about as a society enough. We hide this stuff, especially if it's something very shameful. You tend to hide it. But my best advice to you is figure out your patterns. And then just like Brad was saying, if you can find somebody to help you stay accountable on that thing, somebody you can trust, you can just text with or whatever it is, man, find that person.
Tyrus and Congressman Eric Burlison next on the Annie Frey Show. Don't go away.
But it's gonna take money. Whole lot of spending money. It's gonna take plenty of money.
Could you make $500,000 in retirement savings feel like $1 million, or $1 million feel like $2 million? You could. But the key is having a comprehensive financial plan for taxes, Social Security, inflation, healthcare, income, and more. It's Sue Thomas. And if you want to discover how you could make your money go a lot further in retirement, try this 3-hour adult education class called Retirement Planning 101. It's a one-night class. It's taught by a fiduciary advisor from Financial and Tax Architects with decades of financial planning experience. They are held at colleges and libraries throughout St. Louis. There's no cost, but they ask that you bring 3 canned goods for St. Louis Crisis Nursery. If you have saved $300,000 or more for retirement, register by calling 314-947-2012, 314-947-2012. That's 314-947-2012.
We, without hesitation, recommend that anybody work with ThrottleNet. The experience will be as good as it's been for us, for anybody, because you'll get a true partnership and you'll be able to rest easy that you're going to get the service that you need, while they're also doing all those things that you don't want to have to think about, that you don't want to have to worry about. They're always doing that in the background for you.
Don't wait for your next IT crisis. If your business depends on technology, you need a partner that's got your back. Contact ThrottleNet.com to get a free IT evaluation and see how we can support your IT everything.
And a lot of people, when they come in, they'll say, I'm usually much more active, but since I've been in pain, I've had to limit the activities I'm doing.
You're listening to Janelle, an arch support specialist at the Good Feet store.
So he came in and he wanted to be able to keep up play sports with his kids. And from there, we figure out which arch supports complement those activities. I fit him with the arch supports, and as I followed up with him, he's messaged me and said, I took my kids to the park today. We're walking, we're exercising, riding the bikes, and those are all things that he wasn't doing before because he was in pain.
For over 25 years, the Good Feet Store's arch support specialists have been helping folks to live the life they love without foot, knee, hip, or back pain getting in the way.
Our goal is to have that long-term change for them. That's what's most important, is knowing that you leave an impact on someone's life. And I like that.
Try them for yourself. Stop in for a free personalized fitting and test walk at the Good Feet Store.
Visit one of our 2 locations, Creve Coeur and Shiloh, Illinois, and at goodfeet.com.
When's the last time you gave your home's exterior a little love? Hi, it's Kim, and if your siding is cracking, it's fading, or just doesn't stand up to our St. Louis weather, it's time to call Lakeside Renovation and Design because they're experts in James Hardy siding, which is this durable, low-maintenance option, and it looks beautiful. Plus, you have customizable colors and textures, and so you can give your home a completely new look while protecting it for decades. Don't wait until the small problems turn into big ones. Visit lakesidearty.com to schedule your free consultation.
KFTK FM Florissant from the Kaufman Townsley St. Louis's Injury Lawyers Studio. Call 314-500-5000.
That's 314-500-5000.
All on the free Odyssey app.
A turbulent day for the markets. Lisa Brady, Fox News. Global anxiety over new U.S. tariffs turning stocks deep red as the Trump administration offers reassurance about the bigger picture.
A short-term disruption was expected, Agriculture Secretary Brooke Rollins says.
This will be a short time of uncertainty, and then we'll move back to the prosperity that this president has envisioned, that he is so bold and so willing to fight for.
Rollins says she believes farmers and ranchers will ultimately benefit from a golden age.
But it will reach every corner of America.
President Trump announced a 10% tariff on all imports and additional reciprocal tariffs on dozens of countries with a trade imbalance with the U.S.
Fox's Jared Halpern at the White House. Right now, the Dow is down more than 1,300 points. President Trump has said the U.S. is declaring economic independence, calling yesterday Liberation Day.
I don't know from what he's liberating the American people. He ran on making America affordable again.
Delaware Democratic Senator Chris Coons, one new bipartisan proposal in the Senate would require congressional approval of tariff policies. Denmark's prime minister visiting Greenland and sending a message to President Trump, rejecting what she sees as a possible effort to annex the Danish territory, even by arguing that international security is at stake. The Danish foreign minister meeting earlier with Secretary of State Marco Rubio, attending his first NATO summit. Rubio says the U.S. wants NATO to be stronger and more viable.
The threats truly are as dire as I believe they are, and the members of this alliance believe they are, then that threat has to be confronted by a full and real commitment to have the capability to confront these things.
He says members should spend more on defense. Just getting reports from Palestinian health officials of at least 27 people killed while sheltering at a school in Gaza. They blame an Israeli airstrike. The Israeli military earlier said it struck a Hamas command center. America's listening to Fox News.
I'm still going for it, even with higher stroke risk from atrial fibrillation, an irregular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Over a 3-year study, Eliquis apixaban tablets reduce stroke risk better than warfarin, and over 97% of Eliquis patients did not experience a stroke. A first stroke occurred in 2.9% of warfarin patients versus 2.3% of Eliquis patients.
Don't stop taking prescription Eliquis without asking your doctor. It may increase your stroke risk. Eliquis can cause serious and in rare cases fatal bleeding. Don't take Eliquis if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or take longer for bleeding to stop. A spinal injection while on Eliquis increases risk of blood clots, which may cause paralysis, the inability to move. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding, unusual bruising, or tingling, numbness, or muscle weakness. Medications such as aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners may increase bleeding risk. Tell your doctor about all planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation, weather.
Get set for an extended period of wet weather. This is not really a severe weather setup. It's just a lot of rain. Couple of thunderstorms around going through the afternoon. 62. Tonight, periods of rain. 48. Friday, periods of rain. 63. Saturday, periods of rain. Some thunderstorms. Chilly. 55. Sunday, rain ends by about noontime and a chilly 49. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Why should you hire America's largest injury law firm for your case? There's lots of reasons. Just like there's a reason millions of people called us last year in their time of need. When it comes to fighting for justice and compensation, millions of people across the country trust us to go to battle for them. We became the largest injury law firm in the world for a reason. There's only one Morgan & Morgan, forthepeople.com. Injured? Dial pound law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Hey guys, it's Mark Reardon. If you're struggling with low energy, performance issues, or weight gain, Game Day Men's Health has got you covered with testosterone therapy, ED treatments, and more in all of a relaxed man cave environment. At Game Day, you'll get a free testosterone test and consultation, all in just 1 hour. Game Day is the premier men's health clinic with locations in Chesterfield, O'Fallon, Missouri, and Glen Carbon, Illinois. Visit GameDayMen'sHealth.com. That's GameDayMen'sHealth.com. Get back in the game with Game Day Men's Health.
The Retirement Advisory Group, Bob and Tammy Kershaw, they know how to help you look at the stock market right now and not be in a place where you're like, oh my gosh, this is terrible. Thomas Helbig and the Retirement Advisory Group have been doing this for decades, and they know how to help you transition. They're focusing specifically on you, the people who are looking at the stock market today and the most worried because retirement is right there. That's when you call the Retirement Advisory Group. They make sure they can insulate you from these sort of market downturns. When you call 314-993-9494, that's 314-993-9494, you're going to partner up with the Retirement Advisory Group for a free conversation. Doesn't cost you anything. You can get your spouse, sit down, have a nice conversation with them, and find out how they can help you. And then after you've done that, you can decide whether you want to hire them or not. But you got nothing to lose. 314-993-9494. That's 314-993-9494. You can learn all about the Retirement Advisory Group online at retirementkey.com.
1 in 4 Americans today are living with a disability. I'm one of them. People with disabilities are extremely talented, resilient problem solvers that have so much to offer. And we've got a trusted ally on our side, an organization we can rely on, Easter Seals. Easter Seals is leading the way to full equity, inclusion, and access to healthcare, employment, and education for people with disabilities, families, and communities. That's my Easter Seals. Make it yours.
Learn more and get involved at easterseals.com.
Beat the spring cleaning rush and call our cleaning heroes at Zero Res. This month, get 3 rooms Zero Resified starting at $119 and take $75 off your air duct cleaning package. Visit ZeroResSTL.com today and tell me what the 97.1 FM Talk Mark Reardon special.
The Foley Foundation works tirelessly to bring American hostages home. Kim St. here. We're raising awareness about the Foley Foundation's mission to reunite families, hold captors accountable, and prevent future hostage taking. Visit 971talk.com/events to learn more.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
Welcome back to the Annie Fry Show. We're happy to have you here with us this afternoon. Right now, the Dow Jones down about 3.27, not about, exactly, 3.27%. Have you looked at any investments that you have?
No, because I just have general funds. I don't have anything in particular, but I haven't looked at those, no.
You know, I dabble.
Yeah, you dabble.
And I keep looking.
You're a day trader.
I'm not a day trader. I think I've sold one share.
When do you do it? At night? Of course,
I think
you're a
I've
day
tried, and I
trader.
don't think you can because they're not open.
Exactly.
I don't know what I'm doing.
Means everybody who trades is a day trader.
I've got 2 stocks that I'm watching right now, and I have numbers in my head. If they go below, I'm putting like $300 in it, which is not a lot of money, but it is a lot of money to me to put that in there. But I'm thinking that, what is it they say? Buy low.
Buy the dip.
Buy the dip.
And today is definitely a dip. You just don't know if it's going to keep dipping. That's the question.
You are no economist,
I am
but you
not.
do have jobs and income and money, and you're trying to do the best you can for your family, invest, sacrifice, save, expand. In your mind, because I think that we probably reflect, 90% of the people listening to us right now in knowledge base average of what these things are going to mean long term. And that's to say we don't know much, but we are literally invested. We're mentally invested. We're politically invested, but we can't predict anything here.
No.
How long do you expect to see? How bad do you think this is going to get? Just in your moderately know enough to be dangerous territory that I also reside in, probably to a less. I mean, I know less about this stuff than you do. How long do you think this is scary?
I think you're going to see a very, very volatile April, and then you're going to figure out.
It just started.
I know. You're going to figure out longer term what Trump's plan is, because he could be doing a couple different things here. Actually, he says he's doing both of these things simultaneously. I don't know how they coexist, but he says that he's going to both move businesses here. That's the purpose of the tariffs, and try to get everybody to sort of even their tariffs out with us. Well, if they're going to even them out with us, then you're not going to have the tariff, which doesn't cause the business to move here. So I don't know really how those things coexist, but that's what April is going to be, is figuring out, is this stuff long-term? And if it is long-term, how are individual businesses, which is what makes up the stock market, reacting to it? And then by the end of the month, we'll have a better idea.
Tariffs, Doge, and one big beautiful bill. Which are you most excited for the outcome?
Doge, because it's the one you can see actual real-time cuts happening to the government that have needed to happen for so long. All the rest of this stuff is important too, and it may all be part of the same package. Well, it is, obviously. Same president, same package. But that's the one that you know for sure has to change or we're bankrupt.
We've got the U.S. debt clock up right now, usdebtclock.org. And they added a Doge link to this. And the U.S. national debt right now is at $36.6 trillion. That's a lot. But then they added the Doge clock. So $36 trillion, that's the Doge clock is up to $275 billion. And then they did something super smart. And they broke the Doge clock, the savings that are coming out of the Elon Musk team's efforts, and they broke it down in savings per taxpayer. And right now, the savings per taxpayer based on the efforts of Doge is $2,454. What did they say in that Brett Baer interview? Doge is trying to find $1 billion a day? A week? Do you remember that?
Yeah, I do.
No, I wish you guys knew the stat because I'm just like throwing out baloney.
If that's true, they're ahead of schedule.
Does that make sense? $1 billion a day?
Mm-hmm.
Wow, gosh. Like I said the last time we talked about this, if I find $20 in my winter coat when I put it on again in the winter, I'm like, oh my gosh, let's go get ice cream.
I get it, but $1 billion a day, I'm glad to see that they're ahead of that because they have to be. They have to be ahead of that, or else they're not even going to get to $1 trillion for what, 999 days? That's too long.
Dawn says, Annie, April showers bring May flowers. So maybe if you think that the downturn or the edge of your seat worry is going to happen in April, maybe the payoff is in May. That seems like that'd be pretty fast.
Well, what would be amazing is if you do see within a month or two the stock market completely steady. And they go, oh, okay, because it's the uncertainty that changes everything. If they figure it out and they go, oh, okay, this is what this is going to look like, and we still have all these tariffs, you really will see businesses move here like crazy.
Well, I think a lot of that also depends on how other countries react to the tariffs. If you start seeing countries coming to the negotiation tables and stuff like that, this could be a really short dip too. You know, countries come in and like, yeah, you're right. excessive tariffs. Let's just do away with these.
Every time you guys say dip, I'm checking the stock prices. We are.
I put my hand up on your hip.
When you I dip, we dip. I am 17 cents away from one of these. I guess 18 cents to dip below the number.
Just do it.
I know I should.
You gonna hold to your principles?
Well, I just listen to Wiggins America, and I
say hold to your principles.
Understand my boundaries.
Although I just said do it anyway.
Well, yeah, that's because you're the devil.
Yeah, I'm both. I'm on both shoulders.
I'm gonna sidestep into what I just said there.
Okay.
And it has nothing to do with economics and all that stuff. But I said that's because you're the devil. Do we underplay in our regular daily lives? Underplay the existence of evil?
Ooh, that's a big question.
I was just talking to Terry about this the other day.
Do we underplay the existence of evil?
Because here's the thing. Ryan, are you Christian?
Yes.
Brad, are you Christian?
Yes.
I'm a Christian. If you're a Christian, my definition of a Christian in a broad sense is that the full and complete understanding of your brokenness and your sinfulness and your depravity is fully covered by the grace of Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
And there's no part where me lifting it up and flexing and being like, I'm a good person now because of Jesus and my goodness is going to save me. That's not it. It's Jesus. That's just the way it is. But if this is where, and I'm not saying this, I'm not talking like this, like in a witnessing way. I'm talking about this in we're three Christians. We talk to a lot of people who are of faith to some varying degree. I mean, you might not have been in church for a long time. Easter's coming up. You might be thinking about going again. You should. That when we, as Christians, profess like Jesus saved you from your sins, I think that average people think of their sins as, I was talking bad about that person the other day, and I have a really rough time not saying the F word, and I overate, and I didn't go work out, and I was in a bad mood, so I was mean to my husband, and I said some things that he didn't deserve to hear. And I snapped at my kids. But Jesus loves me enough. And Jesus died on the cross to save me from those sins. So I'm going to heaven. That's like not even a taste of it. Like that's so tiny and small. Now those are sin, like sins of sin. But when you look at the stuff that I see being advocated for in politics, this is where my worlds collide as somebody who's a Bible believing, Jesus fearing, loving Christian, is I am very tempted regularly to be like, okay, I'm at work now, so let's talk about the good and the bad, but doing it in the context of good policy, good politicians, bad politicians. And it's simple to kind of like step out of that and then go into the rest of my life and then like, okay, now it's Jesus time. And it isn't possible for it to work that way, even if I am completely wrong about the Jesus thing. And you listen to the show and you're an atheist and you could, go to the mattresses on how certain you are that all of the Christian Jesus stuff is just baloney sausage. And you know that, and you're confident in it. And you would argue it with me if you ever had the chance. Or if you're an agnostic and you're like, there's something out there, but I don't believe in a God who would allow bad things to happen. Or if you are very faithful, very religious, and you're Jewish, or whatever it might be. There are lots of different walks of life where faith is part of it, but it doesn't look exactly like me. And how I do it, or how I talk about it, or how Ryan and Brad talk about their faith. You can't just it's not like a handbag you take out to accessorize your day. It's not the pair of sneakers like you put your comfy sneakers on when you get home, or like your Mr. Rogers red sweater when you get home because now it's safe to put this on and it's comfy and cozy. But if you're out and about, that thing that you really truly believe in, that it's all encompassing. Or, like I said at the beginning of this, it's not, and I'm completely wrong about it. But how can I possibly apportion it to parts of my day and not look at the world right now and not see the trafficking of children, the worshiping of the most wildest sexual deviancies that I never grew up even knowing would possibly exist. Like how dreadfully close we are to being cool with pedophiles as a society. There's really no other explanation to it other than evil. And so, like, when I'm thinking of, like, I had a bad attitude today when Jared was getting ready for work, and I was kind of snapped at him, but Jesus loves me and he forgives me for that. Like, is that the breadth of Jesus's arms wide open, like, to forgive me for being rude to my husband? Or, like, when you start to think of the actual width of evil that exists in the world, to me, like, sometimes that stops me in my tracks and takes my breath away. That the things that we're talking about aren't political differences, because I know a lot of people who are very staunch and active Democrats who want to see child trafficking and sex trafficking and all of the Epstein file stuff, like all of that stuff. They want that to be exposed and outed and punished. It's not Republican to not like that stuff. It's not Democrat to like that stuff. That's not it. And like in that essence, it's almost like there's something bigger here than winning a Republican race. That are we actually fighting against evil? Well, the answer is obviously yes, but I sure don't look at it that way.
It's hard to quantify the evil out there. It's so big. It's because it always comes down to the individual person, the choices that they're making that cause the sex trafficking, that cause the whatever. So it's always back to the individual. And lately I've just been thinking about even the word sin. You mentioned the word sin. Like, it's really just being off the mark. Like, what does God want? I'm not quite there. And when you talk about the fullness of God, if God is love, if you're not fully in love with God, you're off the mark, you know? I mean, that can apply to everything. So any way that you're not quite living out the fullness of whatever God has for you, you're off the mark. You're in sin. And it does kind of encompass then everything.
Which everybody is off the mark.
Everybody,
Nobody is even close to the mark. Like, you could go to my X profile and you'll see Christian, and I have it articulated there, which means admitted and forgiven sinner. Like, there's no thing that you can do that covers up the brokenness of who you are, but you don't have to because it's been done for you. And that's kind of the release that I think people often miss in the Christian conversation specifically, because there's a lot of like works or faith or, how do you get to heaven? Deep conversation, you start getting into different, interpretations of the Bible and how that actually materializes. Then you start parsing Christians into different denominations, and we're not here to do that. But the way I want people to understand the goodness that comes from people, whether like, if Christians are good people, what I want you to understand is when you fall in love with somebody, like if you fall in love with your spouse and you get married and you love each other, you don't do nice things for that person or with that person or to that person. You don't, the good things you do for that person aren't out of some sort of obligation in order to fulfill the marriage. You love each other. And you want to see that person happy. And you want to see that person smile. And you want to take pain away from that person if you can take pain away from that person. You want to take stress away from that person if you can take stress away from that person. So when you're fully loved by somebody and you're made to love them back, then all of a sudden you have a good in your heart that you want to share. And that's what a good deed looks like. But it's not a ticket you punch in order to get the salvation. That salvation has already been made to be yours. As soon as people start to understand, in my experience, as soon as people start to understand that there isn't a measurement that you have to qualify for, and that the light that you might see in people's eyes if they have a faith of some kind, that it's reactive, it's not qualification. That sure relieves the burden that you could not ever possibly be strong enough to carry. And you don't have to. It's been done for you. Yeah. So what did you say that made me think that? Evil? Oh, I asked about the actual presence of evil in the world because my kids, we talked a while ago about intrusive thoughts or something. You did a story on something
yesterday or the day before.
And I actually said to one of my kids, they were starting to get anxious and worry about something. And I told them, this sounds cheesy, but I just want you to know that that's the devil trying to get in your head and tell you you're not good enough. And I said that, and I thought to myself, I didn't say this out loud to my kids. I'm like, wait, that's actually true. I was trying to be like, good mom, like the devil was telling you to do this, so you're going to do that instead. But I said that, I'm like, gosh, it's actually true. And then I'm like, I should take that advice from time to time. Like the things that try to come at you and get you to pull you down. I mean, it either is or isn't. And if I'm going to say to the world that I'm a Christian, then I have to believe that it is.
We got a whole generation that needs to hear that one message right there. You know what? That's actually the devil trying to get you down.
Yeah. I mean,
really?
It's,
okay.
It kind of, to me, like when I said that to my child, it actually gave them strength to push back against it. Like, okay, I understand this in a way that I'm going to push back. I can, like, you give an enemy that you can push back against and pray about or whatever. All right, let's talk to Congressman Eric Burlison when we come back. I'm going to ask him about, he's a member of the Freedom Caucus. Are we going to talk to him about the Anna Paulina Luna stuff?
Yeah, he's good to talk about.
I'm excited to talk to him about that. What actually happened? Is the Freedom Caucus, are the Republicans that voted against it, are they against the rule? Are they against what Paulina Luna was trying to do specifically? Were they just upset with the way she was trying to do it? Give us some backroom information, because I understand that the House isn't doing anything right now. Why? Congressman Eric Burlison on the Annie Frey Show next.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
Well, artisticdecks.net, if you have been thinking about that deck that you want to have on the back of your home this summer, that's the exciting information here. You need to call Artistic Decks at 314-280-0821. 314-280-0821. I appreciate so much the commitment to really just perfection that Artistic Decks has. They have the ability to get you in this summer, which is not always the case. And right now, they've opened up this conversation with you through our show to make sure that they do fill up that schedule to get the message out to you that they do have the availability. But it only takes a small down payment, and you're on the schedule. You can use the best grade of #1 ground contact-treated lumber available in this area, and you get the best results with Artistic Decks. If you go to their website, artisticdecks.net, you're going to be able to see some beautiful pictures of different types of decks that they have built, and you're going to work with great local people. Free design and consultation. They've been in business for over 20 years, and they want to make your dream deck possible and, of course, affordable. That's what matters. If you want to support Artistic Decks by reaching out to them and starting the conversation, we thank them for their partnership with us here. You will be in very good hands, capable hands, experienced hands with the folks at Artistic Decks. They handle the permitting process and everything. 314-280-0821, online at artisticdecks.net.
At the Williams residence, everything looked kind of the same from the outside. But inside, their lives just got way happier. 3 years of inflation and debt had crushed them. But for the first time, they had the cash to secure their retirement, pay off bills, and plan their future. They didn't win the lottery exactly. They did a genius financial strategy called the Sell and Stay program from Truehold. It's easy. Their home's value had rebounded greatly, so they quickly sold it to Truehold and banked all that equity in cash. But since they weren't ready to move, they could stay put with an easy, affordable lease. Truehold even paid their property taxes, home insurance, and essential home repairs. Truehold unlocks your wealth without uprooting your life. Get a Truehold offer now while your home's value is high. Call 855-300-9993 or visit Truehold.com. The smarter, faster way to cash out your home's value without having to move. That's Truehold.com.
Just hearing the word IRS can make people break out in a cold sweat. No one wants to deal with the IRS, and now you don't have to. The good news is Legal Tax Defense has been successfully negotiating with the IRS for more than 15 years. It doesn't matter how much you owe, whether it's $5,000 or $5 million. You deserve the best in the business on your side, and that is Legal Tax Defense. Even if you're working with someone else and just want a second opinion, there is no cost or obligation to call. They can prevent levies, liens, wage garnishments, even file back tax returns. And the best news about Legal Tax Defense is they won't take your case unless they know they will reduce or eliminate your tax debt. Call Legal Tax Defense right now for a free no-risk consultation. 800-285-8939. 800-285-8939. You have nothing to lose but everything to gain. 800-285-8939.
You're listening to the Annie Fry Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Save now with 2024 pricing and carrier cool cash rebates up to $1,700 on a new HVAC system. For details, visit aircomfortservice.com.
The Mark Reardon Show.
That was the lowest crowd at Bush 3 that they've ever had. I think that there are a fair amount of people out there that just don't want to come to downtown because they think it's unsafe. I've been told by some friends of mine they're not going to go until, things change with the upper management.
Weekdays from 3 to 6. This is the Annie Fry Show. The Annie Fry Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
On a Saturday night in the summer, sundown and they all come out. Lamborghinis and they rented hummus. The party's on, so they're heading downtown. Everybody's looking for a come up, and they wanna know what you're about.
The Corporation for Public Broadcasting is using taxpayer dollars to actively suppress the truth, suppress diverse viewpoints, and produce some of the most outlandish, ludicrous content. After listening to what we've heard today, we will be calling for the complete and total defund and dismantling of the Corporation for Public Broadcasting. Here's how it works in America every single day, private businesses operate on their own without government funding. We believe that you all can hate us on your own dime.
Well, that's Marjorie Taylor Greene talking about the possible defunding of NPR and PBS. Of course, we've watched as Congress has been working alongside of Doge to make sure that our taxpayer dollars are being spent in a appropriate and respectful way. And we want to talk to our friend Congressman Eric Burlison now about this, the efforts that are being made by the House. And he represents Missouri's 7th Congressional District. Back with us, he's a member of the House Oversight Committee as well, and the Freedom Caucus. Congressman Burlison, thanks for being here with us today. It's good to have you back.
Always good to be on, Annie.
Thank you. Tell me about the efforts that you feel, like the success you feel right now. You got a +7 majority, as I understand it now, in the House after Florida completed those 2 races and both went to Republicans. How are you feeling right now about the Republican majority's ability to get these cuts done and to be more fiscally responsible with the American taxpayer dollar?
Yeah, I work with a lot of these individuals. I wouldn't say that they're all fiscal hawks, but fortunately we have Donald Trump. I think that he's the game changer. He's the difference maker because he's courageous. And that's what Congress needs. Congress doesn't really have a backbone or have the stones to be able to do the difficult job of cutting spending. They like to have their cake and eat it too. And so I've always been different. And don't mind the protests and don't mind all the angry phone calls. I didn't go up there for accolades. I went up there because I want to save the country. And it's good that Donald Trump, I think, is a unique president. I think historically it's unprecedented. And so I'm optimistic that we might be able to actually reduce spending.
Yeah, I just feel like, during the first term of Donald Trump, I remember saying the economy was going so well. I literally said on this air, like, what could possibly happen that would hurt this economy to make it? And then like I almost feel responsible for manifesting COVID because of those stupid words. And so we watched 4 years of Joe Biden and leftist policies, progressive spending just out of control to amplify a problem that existed before Joe Biden even got there. And now he's back, and we've got a Republican Senate, we've got a Republican House, and I think a lot of people are looking right now at trying to get that big, beautiful bill done, of course, looking at the bills that were supposed to be discussed this week in the House. And then you kind of have this wrench that gets thrown into everything with the proxy vote question regarding new parents being able to vote for the first 12 weeks of a child's delivery. And as we understand it, everything comes to a screeching halt. I'd like for you to, in a rudimentary way, explain it to me. What happened this week, and was this part of the plan?
Yeah, Annie, I have to say, while I'm a friend of Anna Polina Luna, I think that this is very parochial, and there's bigger fish to fry here. And I think the American people get frustrated when Congress spends time on ourselves, and that's what this bill is all about. It would really impact just a few members of Congress who, if after having a child during maternity leave could vote by proxy. I don't know that in fact, I'm pretty confident it's not constitutional. And so I wouldn't support it for that matter. But even if it were constitutional, the question is, why are we spending any time at all on something so parochial that when we're here, we have a $2 trillion annual deficit. We're at $37 trillion in debt. We've got tax cuts that are about to expire that we need to renew. And we're talking about maternity leave for just whoever in Congress. And I'll tell you, Andy, there's not a whole lot of members that are within the childbearing years.
Yeah.
Most of them are a little older.
Yeah.
Or past those years.
And I think to myself, I'm 40, I have 4 kids. My youngest is 3. And I think to myself, when I see Congress, do these people understand the life that I'm living right now? Do they understand what it's like to go to the grocery store and feed 4 kids when one of them's a 15-year-old boy? So it's like 5 kids. Do they understand what it's like to have to commute to work, to pay, the amount of money I'm paying every day and gasoline? Fuel prices make a big difference. And if you're not somebody who's working on a, middle-class income, 2-income household, husband's a public school teacher, do those people who are serving there understand what I'm dealing with? So if you could get more younger people in there, that makes sense to me that, you're going to have people of childbearing age in there. But at the same time, it's just mind-blowing to me, why are we doing this now? It's just that it's not so much that the argument around the issue is problematic. This is not the time.
It's not the time, really. And there's a lot of ways that you could easily accommodate this. We already have basically publicly paid for childcare for parents that have children at that age on site.
At the Capitol.
The speaker, at the Capitol. The speaker could provide a nursing room just off the side gallery. That would be pretty easy, and I think a common sense thing to provide. But at the end of the day, you're employed by your district. Your district elected you, and only your district can fire you. So you answer to your voters. And if you say to your voters, "Hey, I had a baby, and if you can give me some grace, I missed some votes," I think that the voters would understand that. At the end of the day, you're not required to be there. It's not like if you don't show up, you're going to lose your job. I think that being a member of Congress is a privilege, and and the fact that we're just spending so much time on this is really frustrating for me, because I really don't want to spend another minute talking about this.
Yeah, I understand that. I believe that. It would seem like a total unforced error. It does come down on all of the House Republicans, of which you were certainly one of them. We're speaking with Representative Eric Burlison, Missouri 7th Congressional District Representative. And it's like you just want to be laser focused. And it seems to me that up until now, the laser focus, the guiding light for the House and the Senate, maybe a little bit less so, has been Trump's agenda. What do we need to do to further Donald Trump's agenda that he got elected on nationwide with a mandate, if you ask me? that there's been a laser focus about that. So my worry now is that this particular issue, is it possible it causes a rift that spoils over in the next week when the work should be being done?
It could very well spill over. I'm worried that by the House not being there, we've given up a little bit of negotiating power against the Senate, because the House wants to cut spending a little bit more than the Senate does. So that is a real concern of mine. I think that I'm seeing some back channel conversations and chats that between the Speaker and Representative Luna, and I'm hopeful that they kind of come to some kind of resolution here, and then we can just move on.
Yeah, I think that's what needs to take place. Let's shift off of that topic a little bit and talk about the big beautiful bill. And, let us understand how this process is going. I hear all the time from guests on the show, but also from people who pay attention to these things about the Trump tax cuts. They want to see those locked in and extended, made permanent. What is the House working on right now, and what is the business that they need to get done in order to deliver for Donald Trump what he promised the American people he would get done?
Yeah, so the way the reconciliation works is that it starts in the Budget Committee, and the Budget Committee puts together a resolution that sends instructions to the different committees of Congress. And in those instructions, most of the committees are instructed to find savings. So in the Committee on Energy and Commerce, they were instructed to find nearly $900 billion in savings over a 10-year period. In oversight, it's like $50 billion over a 10-year period. So each committee then has to go do its job, figure out what policies that we need to pass in order to, in essence, create that level of savings. And the reason why we're trying to create that level of savings is because there's one instruction in that same resolution that's sent to the Committee on Ways and Means. And that instruction is different. It says you get to spend a particular amount of money. And so it allows the Committee on Ways and Means to basically, not spend, but increase the deficit, and by cutting taxes. And so Jason Smith, who is a Missourian, is given that opportunity. He's to find ways of making the Trump tax cuts permanent, and then add as much as we can possibly get as far as Trump's agenda, that no tax on tips, no tax on Social Security, no tax on overtime, and see how far we can go. And the way that we designed it, the more that we can find in savings, the more Jason Smith gets to cut. I think that's a good thing. And so it encourages Congress to find places to cut spending.
So your expectation and confidence that the big beautiful bill, and I've heard Trump say, I'd take two, but just give me the things that I need here. What is your confidence that that's going to get done, and do you have an estimated timeline?
I think it'll probably happen in the next summer, probably before our August recess. If it doesn't happen, then there will be a tremendous amount of pressure to stick around through the August recess, and then and also pressure to do something before the September 30th into fiscal year deadline. So I think that at the latest, if all hell breaks loose and things go really crazy, probably September 30th. But I think that a conservative timeline is something closer to the end of June or July.
Well, I know that the sooner the better. I think that's the way everybody feels about it, but much easier said than done when it requires an act of Congress, of course. Representative Burlison, thank you for being here with us today. We appreciate you, and for joining us on Zoom. People love your living room. They're commenting on it. So thank you. Thank you for sharing us.
Hey, I get to live in the country, so I enjoy the window.
Yeah, it looks great. Enjoy the wet weather that we've got coming through today. We'll talk to you again soon. Take care.
Okay.
Bye-bye. That's Representative Eric Burlison. He is Missouri's 7th Congressional District Representative, and he's got quite a few assignments. Member of the House Oversight Committee. He's a member of the Freedom Caucus, and he's a member of the Transportation and Infrastructure Committee. We're going to take a quick break, and let's talk about the YouTube live chat poll. When we come back, we'll get some of your thoughts on it as well. Let's see. How many votes do we have today? Are we going to get to 300 votes? Woo, we got 202, so we got about 20 minutes. Oh, it's going up now. You guys want to take phone calls? You want to reach out to us on this YouTube poll and have a little discussion in the 2 o'clock hour? Come vote. Let's get to 300 votes in the poll. Are you spooked by the stock market? I'm actually kind of shocked at the results of the poll so far. Here's what you do. YouTube.com/@AnnieFry, F-R-E-Y. YouTube.com/@AnnieFry. Or open your YouTube app and just type in Annie Fry. You're going to see where we're broadcasting live. When you open that live broadcast video, it's a live chat that's going to be right there. And that is the YouTube live chat poll. And we need your thoughts. We'll be right back.
Yeah, that's not who we are.
This is the Annie Fry Show. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
True for hours last night and we made it nowhere. I see stars and
Todd Sivia. You know Todd Sivia. He's been on the show many times. He's my friend. He is also the lawyer that put together the trust for my husband and for me. And when it comes to being 40 and you're thinking like, oh, put your trust together, like you got all these huge assets and stuff. We're pretty, middle class. We've got children that need to have, the future plan for them. If we were to unfortunately pass away, where do my kids go? Well, not into probate. That's for sure. That's why I reached out to Sivia Law in the first place. SiviaLaw.com, Missouri and Illinois alike. He serves both sides of the river, and he's the very best. He has a fantastic team, and he has many locations in the bi-state region. 833-995-WILL. Let's talk about your estate plan. Let's talk about any elder law concerns that you might have. Let's talk about making sure that your assets go where you want them to go and not into probate where some, government system decides that they go. And then they all get to be made public. If you lose your spouse, you want to make sure that everything is lined up with living trusts, with wills, with all of your intentions put down on paper. This conversation right now that you can have when things aren't very stressful is the best time to have it. If you're having these discussions, which, still if it's under a certain kind of duress due to a medical situation in your family or whatever it might be, it's still better to have them before it's too late. But get this phone call made right now. Start the process. Schedule a strategy session. You can have documents completed in 2 weeks. Do not put this off. You've heard me say this before. You've heard me talk about estate planning. It's time. 833-995-WILL. 833-995-WILL. SiviaLaw.com.
Clint Black in concert. Clint Black, an incredible night featuring some of his greatest hits. Saturday, April 12th, 7 p.m., the Family Arena. Clint Black in concert. Special guests Ruby Lee and Emily Ann Roberts. On sale now at the Carroll House Furniture box office located at the Family Arena or Ticketmaster. Don't miss Clint Black.
It's the greatest pop rock of the 60s and 70s. The Happy Together Tour 2025 with the Turtles, Jay and the Americans, Little Anthony, Gary Puckett and the Union Gap, the Vogues, and the Cowsills. August 21st, the Family Arena. Reserve seats on sale now at the Carroll House Furniture box office located at the Family Arena or Ticketmaster.
Ready for instant curb appeal that comes with a 25-year transferable warranty? Call Rhino Shield today. We do brick, block, stucco, asbestos, aluminum, steel, cedar, and more. Over the past 20 years, we've done thousands of homes, businesses, churches, schools, condos, parking garages, large metal buildings, and strip malls, from Champaign to the Lake of the Ozarks. We do flat and sloped metal roofs to extend their lives too. Proud to be veteran-owned and manufactured in the good old USA. So we're tariff-free. We're exceeding expectations every day. Evaluations are free. A+ rated with the BBB and a lot of 5-star Google reviews. Call 877-25-RHINO, 877-25-RHINO, or 877-25rhino.com. See what we did there? Genius. Tell them, ladies.
Don't hate, don't Rhino, go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Mark Cox here. If you're nearing retirement or already retired, call my friends Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw with the Retirement Advisory Group. They'll show you how to link to the market without the risk. They're the official financial advisors of my show. Go online to retirementkey.com.
When you want a brand new kitchen, there's nothing to it. There's a brand new way to do it. 3-day kitchen and bath.
Eileen talks about her experience with 3-day kitchen and bath.
A lot of gross kitchen in the beginning, cracked formica, bad floor, ripped linoleum, and I decided to heck with this. I want it done. And I found an ad from 3-day kitchen and bath. I called him. Dave brought all of his stuff. We talked about what I wanted. I chose the materials. It was very easy. He came in. He did what he said. They did it in the time frame that they said, at the cost that they said. His crew was delightful. We came home. Everything had been cleaned up. I would say people are silly not to do 3-day kitchen and bath. I just love it. It's just like I moved into a new home.
It's about time.
3 days or less.
At 3-day kitchen and bath.
I put money into real estate, and from there came one of my largest returns on one of our properties, which is about close to 300% return in about 14 months.
That's Joe Cantu on what Lifestyles Unlimited has done for him. Join Del Walmsley and Lifestyles Unlimited for Expo 2025, May 7th through the 10th in Irving, Texas. Get hands-on training from successful investors and learn proven strategies that work. Save $100 when you text EXPO to 88007, EXPO to 88007.
Annie wants to know the answer to this question. Are you spooked by the stock market? Yes or no? That's because it is today's YouTube live chat poll, and there's only one way for us to find out how you're feeling about this issue, and that is for you to vote in it. Go to YouTube and type in Annie Fry, find today's date and today's live stream. You can watch the show there. You can comment there. And that is where you vote in today's poll. Are you spooked by the stock market? It's 1:49. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
It's election season, and you need the facts before you vote. Mark Cox here. Get my April 2024 Voters Guide, your go-to source for key races, candidates, and issues. Download it at 971talk.com.
Some nights I stay up, cashing in my bad luck.
You're listening to The Annie Fry Show.
Some nights I wish that my
The Annie Fry Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
But I still wake up, I still see your ghost. Oh Lord, I'm still not sure what I stand for. Oh, what do I stand for? What do I stand for? Most nights I don't know anymore.
Welcome back to the Annie Fry Show. Oh, man, now we're 74 cents up. Not buying yet.
74 cents above where you need to be to buy?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was 17 cents before.
You should have bought the dip.
I should have. I missed it.
Man.
I missed it.
Look at all that money you missed out on.
Dang it.
That's per share. So you're out, what, 17-ish cents? 30-something cents maybe?
Math.
I don't know.
That's that part we
couldn't
get.
remember what it was up to, so I couldn't remember what the math would be.
Like $1.50 total, maybe.
Is it?
YouTube poll is, are you spooked by the stock market? Yes or no? What are you, Brad?
I'm a no. This is too early to be spooked. I don't like that the stock market's down, but I have more confidence than I am a Chicken Little. So I'm not going to say the sky's falling until the sky is actually falling. So I'm not spooked by it right now.
Do me a favor, Ryan. Pick a CNN, MSNBC, something like that.
Pick a network?
On what? On the internet. Pull it up.
Okay, I'm going to pick...
No, you do it.
Oh, do it.
You can tell us while you're doing it.
Okay, then I'm going to go to CNN.
And I want you to give us some headlines. Like, what are the CNNers? What are they feeling right now?
You're going to be surprised by this. It's not good.
What?
Wait a minute. Now I'm a little confused by this headline, but I'm going to read it.
You're probably not supposed to read it. I mean, the article, just the headline.
Dow plunges and dollar weakens as recession fears grip Wall Street.
Well, we'll just do what the Democrats did and redefine recession.
You just change what it is. It doesn't matter.
Change what the word means.
Let's add in government spending, then we'll never be in a recession. I'm not sure about the dollar weakens thing. I mean, I haven't looked, but that should be the opposite of what's happening. Here's some other headlines, though. The math Trump's administration used to calculate tariffs
was Common Core.
Stuns economists. And economists are always right. So Let's see here. How a country with modest trade deficit with the U.S. got the steepest reciprocal tariff. That one sounds a little more factual.
Did you see the stuff on X highlighting that CNN had like an orange filter on Donald Trump?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Is that real?
It could be, but it also could be that particular person's TVs.
Completely.
You never really know.
I remember in, man, you could Google this and it would tell you which one it was, but it was in college, and I would think it was in media ethics as a course. And we talked about, I think it was a Newsweek magazine, and it had, I know who it was. It was O.J. Simpson. Maybe it was Time, Newsweek or Time. But when they put O.J. Simpson's mugshot, they darkened his face.
No kidding.
And the criticism was, in a racist way, that was to make him look scarier. And it was a big deal back whenever that happened. I'm like mid-90s, I guess. But it'd be interesting to go back and look at the affecting of the skin color of O.J. Simpson to perpetuate a media narrative that was obviously wrong. In order to, when you're doing that, is that the same kind of thing that if CNN is guilty of doing this? They're trying to change the skin color to affect propagandized narrative.
Yeah, the person on that screen too, they were going between two screens, but you could still see a couple others too, and CNN's did look more orange than the other three. But you never know. It's hard to tell because we've had TVs here in the studio or around our area where you walk up.
That one out there would make people look pink.
Yes, you'd walk up and you'd be like, how come Sandra Smith's hair is pink? Oh, it's this TV. So you can manipulate
like
screens
beauty
too.
School dropout pink.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Beauty School dropout.
Sometimes what you need to do then is look at the different, instead of just looking at Donald Trump's skin, you've got to look at the other colors on the screen to see if they're more true.
You know, it would have been.
It would all be relative. It would all be the same.
It would have been helpful though if they had switched the screens, like on those two TVs,
Just
turned
change
on
the channel.
Fox and turned on CNN on the opposite screens to see if it's still applied.
Seems like such a petty thing to look into, but I really want to know if that actually is what happened.
It is petty, but it is not above that network.
It's petty, and it's petty for them to do it, and it's worth our time to find out if they are using these type of petty type of baloney propaganda stuff to try to influence people.
Yeah.
To think Orange Man bad, because I've seriously thought many times that Donald Trump has never looked better. His hair it's white with just a little golden hue. In honor of the golden age that is upon us, I think.
You sound like a vanity writer.
Rude.
Greg Gutfeld met me at a coffee shop wearing just a pullover with a sweater over it.
And pants.
Well, that's the way they start every article, though.
I don't read them. What else you got on CNN?
Global markets also tumbled after Trump's massive tariffs imposed on practically all goods coming into America. This one's actually interesting. Layoffs hit 5 U.S. auto plants that supply factories in Canada and Mexico. That's interesting. Here's another one. Here's what could soon cost you a lot more because of Trump's tariffs.
Give us some.
Oh,
can you
click on it? Yeah, sure.
Can you click on it?
Open it up here.
Eggs, gas, anything that has
laptops and tablets, they say, footwear, and toys. That's it. That's the only 3 they gave.
You have to find something else to play with.
Footwear and toys. Okay.
What if we made some of that stuff here?
We probably will.
Or we'll just pay more for it, I guess. Let's continue to watch and see what happens here. We're following the stock market today. We're asking you on the YouTube live chat poll, are you spooked by the stock market? Yes or no? Let us know what you think on the Annie Fry YouTube channel, youtube.com/@AnnieFry. We'll be back in just a minute.
That's alright. I found a martyr in my bed.
Don't get lulled into believing the IRS is getting soft. It's just the opposite. Hi, this is Lance Story with the Lance Story Law Firm. We are being told by IRS collection officers that their higher-ups are demanding that they get more aggressive than ever. So don't ignore them any longer. Level up. If you have unfiled returns, unpaid taxes, levies, or liens, call the Lance Story Law Firm today and let us get between you and the IRS. We'll protect your rights, including your right to appeal or even your right to take the IRS to tax court. Remember, IRS problems are legal problems, and they need to be handled by an expert attorney team who's done it for decades. So call the Lance Drury Law Firm today. We're local. Our office is right here in St. Louis, or visit Lance, DRURY, law.com to schedule your free consultation with your local tax resolution law firm, the Lance Drury Law Firm, 314-260-6120.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Farming's hard. To feed the world, farmers have to work the land, brave the elements, and fight the battle against weeds. Weeds reduce crop yields, so prices go up and everybody gets less to eat. But 50 years ago, farmers got a new tool to fight weeds, glyphosate. It kills weeds while protecting the harvest. Time and again, it has been approved by the EPA and by leading regulatory bodies around the world. It helps enable practices that reduce erosion and keep soil healthy, which is good for the earth. Farming's hard, but it's a little easier with glyphosate. Learn more at go.bayer.com/glyphosate, paid for by Bayer.
Do you ever wonder if you've saved enough money to retire? Well, there is a way you can find out how to make your money go a lot further in retirement. It's a 3-hour adult education class called Retirement Planning 101, and it's a one-night class. It's taught by a fiduciary advisor from Financial and Tax Architects, and they have decades of financial planning experience. Now, they hold these at colleges and libraries throughout St. Louis, and you'll learn about reducing your taxes, maximizing your Social Security income, paying for health care, and more. This is Sue Thomas, and you can go for free, but they ask that you bring 3 canned goods for St. Louis Crisis Nursery. There are a handful of openings for classes this month and next, so just register. You just have to call 314-947-2012, 314-947-2012. The number again, 314-947-2012.
I'm Dr. Nick Barnes at Health From Within Family Chiropractic in Rock Hill. At Health From Within, our mission is to transform the way you manage your health by bringing you the truth about health and healing. We use proven techniques to remove interference in the nervous system and maximize health naturally, without drugs or surgery. Connect with me at healthfromwithinstl.com and join me for Maximize Living on this station every Sunday at 8 a.m. or download the Maximize Living podcast, healthfromwithinstl.com.
KFTK FM Florissant from the Kaufman Townsley St. Louis's Injury Lawyers Studio. Call 314-500-5000.
That's 314-500-5000.
All on the free Odyssey app.
President Trump remains confident. Lisa Brady, Fox News, telling reporters moments ago.
The markets are going to boom, the stock is going to boom, the country is going to boom.
This as a sell-off continues for now after the new tariffs he announced yesterday. The Dow is down more than 1,400 points. Countermeasures in Canada over new U.S. auto tariffs.
Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney didn't mince words when it came to President Trump's tariffs.
The president's actions will reverberate here in Canada and across the world.
Carney said he has no choice but to impose a 25% tariff on some U.S. cars imported across the northern border, and he called the president's tariffs a tragedy.
They are all unjustified, unwarranted, and in our judgment, misguided.
Carney said money raised from the tariffs on U.S. goods will be going to help impacted Canadian workers and manufacturers.
Fox's Jill Nato. Canada was not included in new reciprocal tariffs. The auto tariffs drawing a mixed reaction from car makers. Chrysler parent Stellantis pausing production at 2 plants in Canada and Mexico and announcing temporary layoffs at parts plants in the U.S. But General Motors is hiring temporary workers to support increased production at an Indiana assembly plant. Multiple states assessing storm damage from Texas to Indiana over to D.C. And it's not over yet for parts of the central and southeast.
We've got more days of severe weather, back up to a level 4 threat tomorrow in many of the same places. Heavy rain that takes us all the way into the weekend, so that flood threat is going to be ramping up.
Fox weather meteorologist Ian Oliver, at least 7 deaths reported after yesterday's tornadoes. The Pentagon's watchdog just confirming its own investigation into whether Defense Chief Pete Hegseth violated department policy by discussing military attack plans in a private group chat. Hegseth has said no classified information was included. America is listening to Fox News.
I'm still going for it, even with higher stroke risk from atrial fibrillation and a regular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Over a 3-year study, Eliquis apixaban tablets reduced stroke risk better than warfarin, and over 97% of Eliquis patients did not experience a stroke. A first stroke occurred in 2.9% of warfarin patients versus 2.3% of Eliquis patients.
Don't stop taking prescription Eliquis without asking your doctor. It may increase your stroke risk. Eliquis can cause serious and in rare cases fatal bleeding. Don't take Eliquis if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or take longer for bleeding to stop. A spinal injection while on Eliquis increases risk of blood clots, which may cause paralysis, the inability to move. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding, unusual bruising, or tingling, numbness, or muscle weakness. Medications such as aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners may increase bleeding risk. Tell your doctor about all planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
Get set for an extended period of wet weather. This is not really a severe weather setup. It's just a lot of rain. Couple of thunderstorms around going through the afternoon. 62. Tonight, periods of rain. 48. Friday, periods of rain. 63. Saturday, periods of rain. Some thunderstorms. Chilly. 55. Sunday, rain ends by about noontime and a chilly 49. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Stop everything you're doing right now and ask yourself, are you currently receiving steady paychecks? What about when you're retired? Will you receive a monthly check to cover your expenses and also have some fun? Marvin Mitchell and the team at Compass Retirement Solutions calls this mailbox money. It's a monthly check you'll receive throughout retirement. They don't want you to worry about if the money will show up or how much money you'll receive. The only thing they want you to think about is how to spend it when it arrives. Find out how to get enough money in your mailbox every month when you're retired. Call Marvin Mitchell and the Compass Retirement Solutions team at 314-373-1598 to start working on a plan that can help you create the monthly income you'll need in retirement. Call 314-373-1598 right now and schedule a visit with Compass Retirement Solutions. 314-373-1598. Firm offers insurance services, investments, and services offered through Compass Retirement Group, a registered investment advisory in Missouri and Illinois.
Hey, it's Mark Reardon for New Perspective Senior Living, where your loved one will enjoy chef-prepared meals, engaging activities, state-of-the-art technology, and a welcoming community that feels like home. Visit npseniorliving.com to schedule a tour today. New Perspective, where every day is a chance to live life on purpose.
AirComfortService.com. I want to encourage you to push away all of that uncomfortableness that you have to experience during the springtime, that dander, that allergies, just everything, pollen going all over the place. When you go into your home, you need that to be your safe space, your comfort zone, not just because it's cool in there when it gets warm outside, but also because the air is pure. Now, you can get an air purifier from Air Comfort Service. And you can have them come out, check your home, and learn about the air purifier that they can install in your home so you can make sure that you can breathe clearly. Get rid of those allergy symptoms, pet dander, bacteria, viruses, odors, and more. All of this, get it out of your home with an air purifier from Air Comfort Service. They have 55 years of 5-star award-winning service. You get your comfort zone this spring with, of course, any HVAC needs that you might have, insulation, and also that air purifier experience. You can reach out to them by going to aircomfortservice.com.
When you get hurt, you don't want to end up on the injured list. You want to get back in the game, stronger than ever. At Morgan & Morgan, we're the home run hitters you need. Morgan & Morgan, proud sponsor of the St. Louis Cardinals.
Injured? Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Are you looking for an easy way to get a daily detox? Active Liver is the easy way to get a daily detox. To keep you healthy and feeling your best, you can find Active Liver in the vitamin aisle at your local CVS or online at Amazon or NewNordicUSA.com.
Let's show our appreciation for local heroes. Mark Cox here. Nominate a first responder and their department could get lunch from Grill Master Tony's. I'll personally deliver it. Share their story at 971talk.com. Nominate them today.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
How interested are you in the palace intrigue that took place with the Biden presidency, but also the Kamala Harris assuming of the nomination, the Barack Obama lack of speedy endorsement?
Very interested.
So am I. I kind of feel ashamed that I'm as interested, but then I'm like, no, we deserve answers.
Yeah, well, it's world history. You know, it's not just, oh, what are the royals doing? Speaking of palace intrigue.
Why is Meghan Markle a thing?
I don't know.
What did she ever do?
Yeah, let's talk about that for a second. What the heck? Who cares?
That's all I got. I don't know what she's done.
I don't either. None of it matters.
Every headline of Meghan Markle that I see is asking the question, why is she still here?
Well, they also do these things where somebody's spending a lot of time taking a video of her walking with Harry somewhere, and they go, "Oh, look at the way she touches his hand here. Oh my gosh, let's examine this. Let's have our experts
that kind
on."
of smut.
It comes across all the time.
The headline that I always read is like Meghan Markle asked to leave such and such event, or every headline to me seems to be questioning her purpose. And I'm like, what if? Follow me here. We stopped paying any attention.
Ooh. No, you can't do that.
Well, I can.
The TMZs of the world would have to talk about politics. And what you're talking about with the palace intrigue...
TMZ talks about politics every day.
I know
watch
they do.
it every day.
It's spilling over. But what you're talking about, the palace intrigue of the White House, that's stuff that actually affected world history and needs to be dissected.
You and me. It affected you and me directly. Who was the president?
Yeah, we don't know. We don't know.
It sounded like it was like a you guys thing. I was like, he was saying to you.
I did feel a little bit like that got personal with Brad.
I thought we
there
were
for
about
a
to
second.
have a really good story that I didn't know that you guys had a Biden encounter.
Yeah, we were on Capitol Hill that day.
Yeah, I understand. Listen to this. This is from a book coming out about Joe Biden when he was the president. It's pretty ridiculous.
He went to a small fundraiser, fluorescent tape on the floor to guide him where he needs to go. On foreign trips, there's a makeup artist who comes in first thing in the morning to kind of liven him up and do his makeup ahead of these meetings. He wasn't doing television. He was going into meetings. The first thing was to bring in this makeup artist to help him. And all of this we reveal in the book for the first time.
Fluorescent tape?
Yes. And,
to show him where to go at a fundraiser at Governor Phil Murphy's house. So a small place, and it's like fluorescent tape on the floor pointing him where to go in a house. And when he goes to speak to the donors outside, he's got a teleprompter. He's and a podium, in this small patio area. That night they go in for this private dinner, and he's talking about Ukraine, and he's kind of making sense, and then he starts trailing off. And this happens repeatedly, where he's kind of doing well and then trailing off. And finally, Biden sort of realizes what's going on himself and says, you guys don't want to wait anymore for your dinner. I guess I'm gonna shut up now.
They said they used makeup artists. Did you hear the phrase that they said? Did you hear it? They said they used makeup artists not to go on television, just to go into meetings to, quote, liven him up.
Just in his own cabinet meetings?
To liven him up. Now, I am pretty sure that Donald Trump does his own makeup.
Wait, him personally applying his own makeup?
Oh, I'm sure he does.
Oh, I don't think so.
Oh, I think he
I think
does.
he's got a person.
I don't think he does.
Who oranges him up every day.
I bet he has a person who holds it and hands it to him.
He doesn't trust him.
I bet if he's doing movies. I bet if he were doing a Fox thing or whatever, he would turn himself over. But I bet on the daily he does his own.
What about hair?
Oh, he's doing his own hair.
He's doing his own hair?
Oh, heck yeah, he's doing his own hair. The only way to commit to that bit is to do it yourself. And it's iconic. And I hate the word iconic.
It is iconic, though. It's like the bat signal.
You can, listen, I make shirts. And I can make different kinds of shirts. And one of the things, I have access to different images or whatever. I can put the images together and make my own design, whatever. One of them is a yellowish, orangish swoop. And it's Trump's hair. It's just the swoop. That is iconic. And I don't think that it's accidentally different than what everybody else is doing. And I've said this before, too, that I think that he has done his hair the way he does his hair right now. Because I wonder what he looks like with, like, wet hair.
Yeah,
I was going to say when he gets out of the shower, but then we would lose the rest of the segment to that. So I wouldn't say that.
Don't do that. No, you want to know what he looks like when he has wet hair getting out of the shower.
In a swimming pool.
Yeah. Coming up out of a pool.
Slowly.
Yeah.
Give it a shake.
Do the little Ariel Little Mermaid.
Mm-hmm.
Flip the hair back, because I bet it flips.
Yeah.
Well, it does flip.
Oh, it does.
He styles it to flip.
The 90210 music playing.
What is it? Sing it.
I don't remember.
Well, what are you talking about?
I remember it when I hear it. I'm like, oh, yeah. That's hot. Here.
Just take a walk down what you just said. The 90210 music playing. What is it? I don't know it, but I'll know it when I hear it. What is that? That's like me asking you the question, hey, have you heard about the thing at the place? And you're like, oh, yeah.
Hang on.
Well, I know those words exist. And then that's the end of it.
Oh, it's here, I got it.
Well, no. You've done enough. Somebody take that and put it behind an AI version of Donald Trump coming out of the water.
No.
I need Ryan's version.
There we go. See?
This is what you think of
This
when
is what I
I'm
think
talking
of.
about Donald Trump's hair coming out
Coming
of
up
the
out
water?
of water, yeah. And he's just like, what? And like, there's other people from the cabinet who's all like, oh, hey.
Oh, hey, see you there.
It's Marco Rubio.
Oh, yeah. You bringing me a drink?
Is that
Thanks,
Scott
man.
Bessent? Hey, how's the treasury?
Non-alcoholic drink, of course.
Right. There you go. Jason Priestley. He just came up.
What if it... Well, never mind.
I don't think he would be a part of the Trump White House. Based on past comments.
His hair is, I think, long. And I think it's intentionally long and, like, forward and backwards so that he can grow his hair out no matter how thin it might get or if it recedes. And he can place hair where he wants it.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody else does this. Nobody else could do this.
I think he should keep growing it out longer.
I don't think we'd know if he did. He'd just create a new layer.
Go full mane down his back. Like a horse. And then...
That's if the Annie Fry Show gets into the press conference, into the press room. And Gary Wood is asking the first question. It's to be like, not a question, more of a suggestion.
Gary Wood, 97.1, Annie Fry Show. Quick question, Miss Press Secretary. Does the president's hair go all the way down his back like a horse? Your answer. My favorite part of that
Who are you with?
is your answer, because she wouldn't have known that's where I talk. Until Gary Wood said, your answer. And then no matter what, again, always, whatever the answer is, what a scoop. Gary Wood.
We need to get you to the White House press correspondence dinner.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure. See, look, TMZ's got Michelle Obama on there, and she's got Mickey ears. But it's her hair.
Do you know what I always think of when I think of that?
Of what?
Of Michelle Obama with Mickey ears? I think of this song. Oh, he turned me down.
Yeah, I did.
What's he doing?
Why?
Turn it back up.
Killed the bit. There you go.
There it is.
See, now you can create an AI video of both of them together.
Yeah.
World peace. Shame on you. If someone played this for me, I would have no idea it was 90210.
Oh, you're kidding. Oh, it's so funny.
What was the Baywatch theme?
Oh gosh.
Oh man.
I can pull it up.
I remember it starts off with like a piano and some drums.
Yeah.
It's just naming instruments.
Yeah.
Nobody remembers the music, Annie. Clearly.
We didn't watch it for the music.
Oh man. It's playing, but there's no sound, so I'm not sure.
Sing it.
Yeah.
I can't remember it.
Not me.
YouTube live chat poll. Are you spooked by the stock market? Yes or no? We want to know what you think. And I've got votes coming in here now. We are very close to 300 votes. 271 in right now. This is it. There's piano.
I don't remember this part.
I don't remember this at all.
Let's go back to the beginning. There we go.
It's piano and drums. Brad's an expert at Baywatch. Who knew? Things are coming together. This could be part of it.
Did they
This doesn't
really
sound familiar to me at all.
Was it dramatic? Was that show very dramatic?
Or was it I don't
just
remember
like,
being dramatic. I mean, it was
just
like
bunch of skin.
Well, I mean, there was always something they
like,
were trying to
Were they trying
solve.
to be dramatic though?
I think it was just like any, like ER would have drama to it, of course.
Well, yeah.
But there were relationships. It was funny. It was written well.
Well, ER was. ER and Baywatch, I don't think are in the same category.
I think they might be.
ER had real drama happening. Baywatch
I think it's a
is
matter
like,
of
oh my gosh,
perspective.
it's beach crime again. Like people actually go to the emergency room. I'm not sure how often there's
Yeah, if only people didn't
crime
go to
on
the beach.
People, like every day the lifeguards are like, somebody's drowning again. People drown this beach every freaking day. That was what was happening on that show. It had to be.
You're like, turn this off. You're like, have you seen on Disney Plus where Olaf explains every movie?
No.
Oh my gosh. You know how, okay, have either of you seen Frozen 2?
No.
Yes.
Really?
I don't even know if I've seen all of Frozen
It's been a while
1.
since I've seen it, but yeah.
There's a part in the middle. So Frozen 2, when Frozen 2 was being made, they screened it a bunch of times and people liked it, but it actually scared kids. And it seemed a little too heavy. Emotionally, it was just a little too much. So they needed to like liven the movie up and add some humor into it. And so they gave Olaf that responsibility. But there's one part in the middle of the movie where he brings everybody up to speed.
On the movie?
On, like, people are like, oh my gosh, what happened? In Disney script writing. And Olaf briefly and concisely explains all of Frozen 1 and then adds in a couple of developments from Frozen 2, but he does it in an Olaf fashion. It's very funny. And it was very successful, and people really liked that about Frozen 2. So now on Disney Plus, Olaf goes back and explains like all the big Disney movies. So like Moana, Ariel, Little Mermaid, whatever, Cinderella, and he does it his Olaf style. That's kind of like what you just did to Baywatch. There's a long way to get there.
I see now. You know what that movie needs?
What movie? Frozen 2?
Frozen 2.
Shush. All right, let's take this into the break. YouTube live chat poll. Are you spooked by the stock market? Yes or no? Come let us know on the Annie Fry YouTube channel. 24 votes away from 300. Let's see if we can get there. Let us know what you think. I can tell you right now, people are reacting like this. Officer Gary said, I'm not afraid of the dark or spooked by the market. Frank says, hell no, I'm a buy the dip kind of guy. Greatness takes some time, but we'll get there. Let us know if you're buying stock today and what you're buying in the comments as well. We'll be right back with Annie, Are You Okay? Next.
This is the Annie Fry Show. The Annie Fry Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
So weird.
And now, Annie.
It's always good when people tune in after we've already explained why we're playing the Baywatch theme. Just like, isn't that the Baywatch theme?
I thought I was going to find out about tariffs. I had 5 minutes.
It's a little shaky right now, folks. We're trying to make things go a little bit smoother. Can I talk about the diamond shop?
Permission granted.
Well, April, birthstone, and I know because it's my birthday in April, is the diamond. And I keep telling Ryan that Ms. Wiggins would really like something from the diamond shop. And now's the time to go because everybody knows you love a good deal. And they are 40% off right now. In-stock diamonds at the diamond shop are 40% off everything diamond in-stock jewelry, celebrating that April birthstone. Also, they have 30% off all in-stock jewelry throughout the course of the month. So if you've got a Mother's Day gift coming up, if you have a birthday coming up, or if you're looking to maybe pick something out, get a good price on it, and secure the best possible deal on an absolutely stunning, beautiful piece of jewelry, the Diamond Shop's waiting to say hello to you. Make sure when you say hello to them that you tell them You heard about them on the Annie Fry Show. You can find them in Clayton, and it's a very beautiful store to go in, and they are the best people, family-owned and operated. They are the people you're going to be able to develop that relationship with. So if you have a problem with a piece of jewelry that you have, if you need something fixed, if you need it cleaned, if you need it appraised, if you want to, they buy gold, so if you want to sell some gold to them, they do all of this stuff. Watch repair as well. Your one-stop shop for everything you need when it comes to beautiful, beautiful jewelry and the best customer service in the business. You can visit them online at thediamondshop.net.
Hey, Jimmy Fallon here with a quick listening tip for you. If you miss Fox Across America or any of your other Fox News favorites, do not worry. I got you covered. You can stream previously aired shows with Rewind, available exclusively on the free Odyssey app. So if you're busy work days, it doesn't mean you have to miss out on the news. Listen to your Fox shows on your time with Odyssey. To get started, just download the free Odyssey app and search for Fox News Radio. That's Odyssey, Audacy. I'm spelling it out in case you're a little slow like me.
When Greg Hammonds at GregHammonds.com talks to people about health insurance, they tell him, number 1, my premiums are too much. Number 2, my deductible is so high I never meet it. And number 3, my doctor doesn't accept my plan anymore. Greg offers private health insurance plans that are not on the ACA market. You can pick your doctors. For most claims, you won't even pay a deductible. And they're 30 to 60% lower cost than Obamacare. One more thing, there's no tax penalty at the end of the year. Greg even has plans that are guaranteed acceptance and available all year long, so you can enroll today. If you pay for your own health insurance, you're uninsured, you're on COBRA, or your employer coverage is just too expensive, call Greg at 314-794-7784. That's 314-794-7784. Or go to GregHammonds.com. That's GregHammonds.com. He can custom design a plan managed and chosen by you, not the government.
Experience the exhilarating atmosphere of a Cardinals game. Join the sea of red in the wave around the stadium. Feel the rush of excitement as a home run lights up the sky with fireworks, bringing the whole ballpark to their feet. Nothing beats the thrill of watching the Cards get the W with the final out at the plate. It's more than a game, it's an experience. Visit Cardinals.com for tickets and info. St. Louis Cardinals for the Lou.
There is no better way to enjoy America's favorite pastime than cheering on the Cardinals with your family at Busch Stadium. From the thrill of watching the game to the kid-friendly activities, food, and fun, the ballpark has it all. Make magical memories as you cheer together for every home run, double play, and Cards win. Your family summer tradition starts here at Busch Stadium. Grab your tickets today at Cardinals.com. St. Louis Cardinals for the Lou.
Your home is your sanctuary. Get the peace of mind you deserve with a free estimate on a Generac home standby generator from Generator Supercenter. They're the nation's #1 Generac generator dealer. With expert installation and 24-hour monitoring, Generator Supercenter won't leave you in the dark. Financing is available. Take control of your power today with Generator Supercenter of St. Louis. Call 314-499-2020. That's 499-2020 or GeneratorSuperCenterofStLouis.com. That's GeneratorSuperCenterofStLouis.com.
You're listening to the Annie Fry Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Air Comfort Service is donating a bag of food to Open Door Animal Sanctuary for every AC clean and check performed in April. To schedule your AC check, visit aircomfortservice.com.
Odyssey.com is a universe of audio, and it's where you can download the app to stream 97.1 FM Talk. The Odyssey app. Download it today and stream anytime from anywhere. Where St. Louis comes to talk. 97.1 FM Talk. This is the Annie Fry Show. The Annie Fry Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
And now it's time to play Is Annie Okay With This?
I can't do this right now. I'm buying stocks.
Did you buy the dip?
Pretty sure.
Yeah, let's hope it's the dip.
So it's not mid slope.
Pretty sure.
Yeah. Ooh, that
Hi,
tastes
Trisha.
like buffalo
Hi,
chicken.
Annie and
Must
crew.
be the dip.
What's up, Trisha?
What's up? What's going on? Ryan's sitting on the floor.
Great financial advice. Yeah, what are you doing down there? I can't even see you.
This chair's too short. This is my message to Odyssey. I need a new chair.
You should have told somebody.
Yeah, it's my fault.
I haven't. This is the first I'm hearing of it.
Yeah, we have definitely not been talking about this for weeks.
UK bans ninja swords and move to crack down on violent knife crime. Brits have until August 1st to get rid of their swords. The Prime Minister announced this week that ninja swords specifically will be banned this summer after a brutal murder in 2022. Ronan's Law will now make it illegal to possess, sell, make, or import ninja swords. So they're coming after your swords.
I think they should get rid of anything that you could kill somebody with.
This is the first step.
Because that would solve death, as far as I understand.
Nobody would ever die. They should get rid of cancer.
They should get rid of cancer. They should get rid
Good
of heart
idea.
disease. They should get rid of ninja swords. I think they're making a start.
Annie, are you okay with fencing?
Any comments?
Before you say yes or no?
That's usually when your comments come.
Well, let's talk about fencing for a second. Can they see through those masks? Because when I look at them from the outside, I cannot see their face, which makes me think that they're doing it blind, which is very impressive.
I don't understand fencing. I don't really. There's actually a fencing news story right now of the female fencer who, that's probably not what you call him, jouster,
swordsman.
It's not swordsman.
Or
Come
woman.
on, folk.
Swordswoman.
Swordswoman.
Swords.
Don't say that. Sword.
Annie threw up a little.
Sword. She knelt instead of the story that they were saying on Fox News today is that this female knew that there was going to be a male competing in the women's division, and she didn't know if she would draw him as an opponent, and she ended up doing that, and so she just went in and knelt. The way out for here is for females to refuse to participate, to make it not worth the effort to upset that apple cart for transgender women to participate in female sports. Whatever the problem is, the solution isn't to put women at a disadvantage. And I mean, like, the greatest mockery of female athletes is biological males who could never, ever compete in the men's divisions of what they're playing in, casually coming in and breaking world records. That is so patently offensive. It doesn't mean that you hate those people. It doesn't mean that you don't want them to exist. It just means that this is not the place for you to ask every single other person involved in this activity to cater and bend to you. It just doesn't work that way. Fencing is fine.
I think they should be allowed to.
I don't know, Ryan.
Popular baby brand Frida is...
I can't see him. He looks like Wilson from Home Improvement right now.
I think they should be allowed to keep their faces covered, but not their crotches. That solved that problem.
That's
played already.
Yep.
What would solve which problem?
The one you were just talking about. Because then you'd know. Because right now you can't see their faces at all.
I don't think so. I think they'd say that's a
They'd
woman's
say that's,
penis.
oh, that's a woman's crotch right there.
Second time I've said that word in the show, and I meant the biological term both times this week.
That's a woman's penis.
Don't derail. Don't derail this conversation, and then not expect me to participate.
I was furthering the conversation. That's what they teach you in improv class.
Just one step too far.
You always take it further. You ever stop it. You don't want to derail. You push.
Brad?
Do I have to hit this again?
No,
we're good.
Okay.
No.
Okay. Speaking of biology, popular baby brand Frida is releasing breast milk flavored ice cream. This is to celebrate.
Popular baby brand Frida?
Frida,
like the nose sucker things?
Mm-hmm.
Do you know about these nose suckers?
The balls?
No, the electric ones.
No. You know what I'm talking about.
Is everybody losing it?
It's those ball suckers.
Bulbs.
Bulbs?
Bulbs.
Bulbs. Bulb sucker.
Yeah, where you squeeze the bulb.
Yeah, you squeeze it.
And it sucks the boogers out.
No, that's not it.
It's got the little nipple on it.
It's the electric one with the light where you...
No.
That's too fancy for me.
Or are you talking about
this
the
is
one
what
where
you
you
do.
actually
You
suck?
stick a tube in the child's nostril, and you make it so it's a full seal in the nostril. And then there's supposed to be a sponge and a filter in this sucker. And then the parent who loves the kid more than the other parent who won't do it goes and sucks the boogers out of the kid's nose.
Oh,
I love my kids, but not that much. But Jared does.
I hated doing it at Disney because we always had to use paper straws to suck those things. And now we don't. Thank you,
Brad
Donald
would take his
Trump.
allergy medicine.
Sorry.
Should have thrown a hand under the bus.
I don't know why you need an electric one, though, Why you need to plug that in?
Is it so that you don't have to use your own lungs to suck the boogers and snot out of the baby's nose? This is a real thing, and it's like the best way to get your kid's nose cleared.
Yeah, it is.
Go back to the breast milk thing.
So there's not going to be a breast milk ice cream. It's to celebrate the launch of the new Frida Mom 2-in-1 manual breast pump. The ice cream isn't made with actual breast milk.
Oh, that's a relief.
Right, but the brand, that's not FDA approved. But the brand assures...
It's actually making me uncomfortably nauseous.
...that it will be a, quote, pitch-perfect representation of the sweet, creamy, nutrient-packed goodness of breast milk.
I would like to meet the person who goes, it's close, but it's not quite breast milk.
Gonna need a little spice.
I mean, they did their best, but I can tell this was lab made.
Annie, are you okay with breast milk flavored ice cream?
No, absolutely not. This is a funny story. I breastfed my first 3 kids in varying amounts because it was based on my patience. And after we got pregnant with Molly, I mean, I might have known. I mean, it might have been the day we found out. I looked at my husband and I said, I don't want to breastfeed this baby. I can't do it. And he goes, that's fine. And that was it.
That's the answer.
That was it.
Yeah.
Like, I just couldn't do 3 very active kids, and that I couldn't do it.
It's so hard.
But good on everybody. I mean, I'm
100%.
proud of how much I did it, but I don't think I could have done it better. I did it as best I could.
Yep.
And that, whatever.
Same.
You know how much I'm
not done
to
talking. You just shush. I haven't gotten to my story yet. There's nothing relevant that you have to say right now, is there? No, not yet.
Hope not.
You can do a lot of things to try to increase your milk supply if you are breastfeeding.
Yeah.
And when you are desperate and you're feeling like you are like just not capable, you're, what's the word I'm thinking? Not incompetent, inadequate as a mom. Like you've gone through all of this process. Your hormones are all over the place. You're trying to breastfeed a baby. It is so difficult. It's hard. You want to make sure that you can produce everything. You can't. So there are lots of different things that you can take that are supposed to help you increase your supply. There's some kind of yeast that you can bake with.
I don't know about that. I know about the like herbal remedy, like
yeah. What is it?
pills
There's some
and-
sort of, it's like baker's yeast or something like that. Somebody would probably know in the chat that you can consume that should increase the supply. They say oats in some way, shape, or form does. So I made cookies that they were like breast milk cookies because they were supposed to push.
Yep, they sell cookies like that too. There are companies online that
beer yeast, brewer's yeast. Yes, Amanda. Yes, and Bobo. There's lots of people who are saying yes. Thank you. So I made these cookies to try to help me, and my dear, dear, dear friend Eric came over and was hanging out at our house with his wife and their kids, and they were over there, and he was in the kitchen, and he ate one of these cookies, and they're perfectly good cookies. There's nothing wrong with them. There's nothing weird about them, and they tasted good. They just were also supposed to have this property to them. And I walked in, I'm like, oh, yeah, those are the breast milk cookies that I made. And he got green. And he was like, he just stopped. And it might have been the most frightened he's ever been in his lifetime. He had half a cookie in his hand. I was like, no. Like, he thought that there was breast milk in the cookies that he was eating. And I was super proud of him and just sitting them out on the counter for him to eat. Like, if Eric would know today that feeling that he had from thinking he was eating my breast milk and cookies. Now, did you want to say something?
I would like to say something. I would like to say I would never eat a breast milk cookie because you don't get high on your own supply.
Well, you can't.
In my household.
It's not yours. It's hers.
I'm so committed to.
No.
We had twins, as you know. I was so committed to helping my wife get through that.
That you
without
said that
breast milk,
4
that
weeks
I never
in,
breastfed at all.
4 weeks into them being born, you're like, I'd love to just go work elsewhere.
Let me out of here.
That's what she said yesterday. Did she breastfeed?
With twins, we were like, we'll give this a shot, and if it doesn't work day 1, we're abandoning it.
And
I think it didn't work on about day 5.
Oh, I cannot.
It just
imagine
wasn't.
with 2.
You couldn't keep up.
No. Next.
Pennsylvania town paints wavy lines on road to curb speeding. Montgomery
Sounds like
Township,
that's going to encourage accidents.
just outside of Philadelphia, has a new curvy line drawn down Gray's Lane to complete. Let me start over. This township called
She's getting high on
Montgomery
her own supply
Township
over there.
is so high on the breast milk ice cream and cookies. This town in just outside of Philadelphia painted these wavy lines on the road to cut down on speeding. These traffic calming measures are being installed due to the numerous complaints, concerns we receive from residents about the speedway Gray's Lane has become, officials wrote on Facebook. Despite the town's good intentions, locals have questioned why this was the solution over more traditional methods like speed bumps. So if you take a look at the pictures, it is just wavy lines down a street, and people are supposed to just go with the flow.
Is it working?
No, people are mad, and they're just they're just ignoring them and lighting this town up on Facebook.
That's naturally what you would do.
Uh-huh.
You would just go, I'm not going to just keep swerving. The road hasn't changed.
Mm-hmm.
You just go straight.
That's what they're doing. Yeah. Annie, are you okay with speeding?
Is it weird for me to say like how much or like what do you qualify as speeding? If the speed limit is 65, is 66 speeding?
No.
I don't know, Danica Patrick. Is that Danica Patrick over there or that Annie Fry?
It's so Thursday. This is fantastic.
He's the best.
He is his biggest fan right now. Get it together, bro. Come on.
You guys can talk without me. You know that. Go ahead.
10 or more over.
I like to keep it right around 9.5. Get it together, dude. Are you okay?
Annie Fry. Is that Annie Fry or is that Jeff Gordon?
So rude.
Who is that over there?
Yeah, but it's just in the grocery store. Is Ruler Foods? See Jeff Gordon in here the other day. I do drive over the speed limit on the highway or on the interstate. I don't speed in town. I'm not for that. That's too dangerous. I will say that Charlie has his permit, so he's a great driver. I'm very happy because I think you kind of know pretty early on how serious they're going to take it, and he's very, very good at it. And I feel comfortable, and way more comfortable than I thought I would. But last weekend, he drove home. We were at Althoff for a baseball game, and he drove home from there. And so we were going to get on 255. It was the first time he'd ever gotten on the interstate.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, okay, 255 is shut down at one end, so there's much less traffic than there would normally be on that end, the Belleville end. So I told him, I was like, when we get on the highway, you have to drive at least 65 miles an hour. Like, you can't be like House 50.
Mm-hmm.
I said, that's not safe. You can't be on the highway and be driving super slow. And then I was kind of like conflicted because 65 is slow on the highway. If you're driving 65 on the highway, you are getting dirty looks when people are driving past you. So, like, what do you tell? Some places at 70, I think where we were going at 65. But, like, what do you say to your kid? Because I probably drive 75 if I'm just going from A to B and I'm not in a big hurry. I'm probably at about 75. I'll drive 80 if I have to. I shouldn't, but I do. What do you say to a kid who's experiencing this for the first time and they're, like, floating between 60 and 65?
Like, pick it up
step on the gas. Yeah, like
I always heard 8 you're fine, 9 you're mine. As far as getting pulled over.
Sounds
8
like
over.
legal ease.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what they'd say in court.
That's what I've always heard. 8 you're fine, 9 you're mine.
Can I get a witness? Mm-hmm. What do you think?
You would say go with the flow, except the problem is you would tell your kid the opposite of that in every other instance in life, other than in traffic.
Yeah.
Go with the flow of traffic, but
and if you're going if it's 70 miles an hour and you're going 77, you can get pulled over for that.
Yes, you can. Yeah, that's tough. You'd probably say between speed limit and 5 over. That's about what because you don't want to go a lot slower than that because that is dangerous.
I was just thinking how weird it is that I mentally think of it as like a suggestion, and it certainly isn't. But if you're on the highway and traffic is blazing by you. I mean, you could be on 255 during regular traffic, and there's 85 miles an hour zipping past you, if not faster, without question.
Yep.
So, I don't know. At the time, I mean, we might have encountered a dozen cars at that late time of evening on a Friday evening on 255, so it was nice. But the other thing is checking your blind spots, looking in your mirrors. These kids have so much tech in the car. Like, you look at the camera, the car beeps. There are so many things on this car that are telling you how to, like, I remember being like, check your blind spot. You can't do a 180-degree turn to check your blind spot. You got to learn how to check your blind spot. So you still have your peripheral vision on the road in front of you while you have your other peripheral vision in your blind spot after you check your mirrors. There are times, he doesn't do it as much now because I'm, like, beating it into his head, but, like, he'll just go into reverse, look at his camera, and start going backwards. And I'm like, you can't do that, bud. Which makes me worried about getting him a new car. He's not going to get a new car, but I don't want to get him a car that doesn't have visuals.
Because he's learning to drive with
He's learning that way, and I think it makes him a better driver, and it makes him safer.
We have one car with and one car without a backup camera, and when I drive the one without now, I've become so dependent on the backup camera that
You just start backing up and waiting for something to beep if there's trouble, and you're like, this car doesn't beep.
Mm-hmm.
Gosh.
I just run into things.
Neither one of our cars have backup cameras, but I know that's a fact. The minute we go over that line, we will never go back.
It's so hard to go back.
And it is so do you worry when you back out of your driveway? I don't know if you have camera or not, but do you worry about your kids playing? I have to know where all three of my kids are.
Oh, certainly.
Before I will move.
Yeah.
Because I've heard too many horror stories.
Yeah.
Stephen Curtis Chapman's daughter was killed by his older son backing over her. That is so tragic, and I never forget. Every time I back up, I think about
when
that.
if we're parking in parking lots or pulling out of a place in a parking lot, I'm always telling my son, like, I'll just say, think of Molly, think of Molly, think of Molly, because he knows, he has the understanding of what a 3-year-old holding a hand, and Molly's really good at parking lots, but she could jet off and see something at any time. Or what if somebody's just not paying attention and, they see me, but they don't see her because she's short? Like, I'm trying to get him to drive through these parking lots thinking of errant 3-year-old children or younger that are running all over the place. Gosh, you guys, it's scary. And he's a really good driver, but you can only, I can teach him, and my husband can teach him about driving, but everything around you is unknown all the time. So.
At least he's not going to be a Dale Earnhardt like his mom.
Oh, shush. I am moderately okay with speeding. All right.
Forgot there was a question.
German company wants to swap hardwood basketball courts for glass. ASB Glass Floor is a German company that builds floors made of fused together layers of safety glass covering LED panels. They see growth potential for glass courts already showing up in the NBA and internationally. They say the surface has give and flexibility exceeding that of wood, aided by a spring action designed to the aluminum and steel framing beneath the LED paneling. I don't know why I say LED so weird. Annie, are you okay with glass basketball courts?
Do you light up the floor in a certain kind of a way? Like the 3-point line is a light?
It's lit up and they can do graphics and things under there.
This kind of sounds fun. Sounds super
expensive. It would be cool for 1 year, and then you go, okay, I'm over it.
I saw a video of them showing plays that you can run, and they display them on the floor so players know where to go.
Can you do that for what the other team's going to do? I bet you could in practice.
Not during a game.
Well,
You're talking about practice.
It was it was at a practice
because the other team would also go, oh, I think I
I
see where
would
they're
go
going
over here where this O is.
I think that it sounds cool. Sounds innovative. I'm not opposed to it.
It would be cool because every time somebody hit a 3, the whole floor, boom, there'd be graphics explosions on it and stuff.
I think that would be hard to run on, though. If there are graphics taking place while you were running, you kind of need to have a mental grasp on where the floor is and what the floor is doing.
It all becomes
nothing.
lava. There should be one trap door in it, but you never know where it's going to be. Change the game a little bit. I think it'd be fun.
Up.
Yeah.
All right. Teresa, thank you for coming in. We appreciate you.
Well, thanks for having me.
All right. Let's take a quick break. When we come back, the YouTube live chat poll results. Are you spooked by the stock market? Yes or no? Get on the Annie Fry YouTube channel and leave us a vote. We got 300 votes. Not quite long enough to take phone calls, but interesting to see the results today. The stock market It's gone down a little bit. Will it come back up? Are you confident that Donald Trump's tariffs are the right call? Leave us a comment. We'll feature your thoughts next.
You're listening to The Annie Fry Show. Follow Annie on X at Annie Fry Show.
RulerFoods.com. Save on Jack's pizzas. Man, we stock those up in our freezer. It's like in case of an emergency when everything else doesn't really work out and you get home and the kids are hungry. Jack's Pizza is the way to go. And right now they are 2 for $6 at Ruler Foods. You can also save on 73% Kroger lean ground beef and a 3-pound roll, just $3.33 a pound. Fresh strawberries, a 1-pound package, $2.49 each. The savings that you're going to enjoy at Ruler Foods when you shop there, everything is going to be more affordable, but you're going to be able to save a little bit extra when they run these kinds of feature items that you can save on. You can check out their super savers as well right now. Mix and match 4 for just $5 when you shop Armor Lunch Makers, North Sides, Hunt's Pasta Sauce, Manwich, and Brotel. You can feed your family for less when you shop at Ruler Foods, and that's incredibly important in our household. You can also have those savings delivered directly to your door. Find the Ruler Foods closest to you by visiting rulerfoods.com.
Hi, I'm Bob Kershaw with Retirement Advisory Group. Are you worried about market volatility? Are you concerned your money won't last you through retirement?
Hi, I'm Tammy Kershaw, and as a family-owned business, we are committed to protecting your retirement, whether you're nearing retirement or already retired. We have a lot of folks that aren't aware of all the new investment choices that are available, which give you growth and protection from losses at the same time. Are you aware of all the fees that you are currently paying? We can show you how to avoid those fees. So come in now for your free retirement review and get a second opinion on your retirement plan. And just for coming in, you'll get a copy of our latest edition book, Your Key to a Worry-Free Retirement. Let us show you how to retire with confidence.
We are proud to say we haven't lost a penny of our clients' money in 39 years, and we won't lose a penny of yours either. Let our family help your family. Call us now at 314-993-9494 or go online to retirementkey.com. That's retirementkey.com.
Attention! Have you racked up $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is notifying consumers about significant debt relief options currently being made available to help those with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of credit card debt for those who qualify. You don't need to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan, and you may only have to pay back a fraction of what you owe, even if you have bad credit. National Debt Relief has already reduced the credit card debt for more than 550,000 consumers, so don't wait. If you owe $10,000, $20,000, or even $100,000 in credit card debt, you can now take advantage of this financial debt relief as the cost of living continues to skyrocket. To check what debt reduction you may qualify for, call 800-222-9599. 800-222-9599. Again, that's 800-222-9599.
I'm Missouri Attorney General Andrew Bailey. Human trafficking is occurring right here in Missouri. You can help combat it by learning the signs of human trafficking and reporting suspicious activity to law enforcement. Victims may appear malnourished, show signs of mental or physical abuse, or avoid social interaction. If you're a victim or know someone who needs help, contact the National Human Trafficking Hotline at 1-888-373-7888 or text the word HELP to Be Free. Together, we can fight human trafficking in Missouri.
Brought to you by the Missouri Attorney General's Office.
Need a lawyer? Onder wins. Call Onder Law at 314-9-MILLION. That's 314-9 all zeros. Or go to onderwins.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
Are you spooked by the stock market? When you see the Dow, is it like you saw a ghost? That's today's YouTube live chat poll. It's a yes or no. Are you spooked by the stock market? 251. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
Hey, it's Mark Reardon. Good afternoon. We're getting set to go here after Fox News. We're going to talk about tariffs. We may talk about tariffs a little bit. And then tariffs are also on my list. By the way, Senator John Kennedy probably explains it best. We'll have him and his wordsmithing coming up after Fox News. Hang in there.
You're listening to The Annie Fry Show. Interact with Annie on Facebook. The Annie Fry Show.
my beauty focus EOU. Ooh, you, ooh, I'd leave it all. My acres of land I've achieved. It may be hard for you to stop and believe, but for you, I'd leave it all.
Welcome back to the Annie Fry Show. When you saw those lists of tariffs that the discounted reciprocal tariffs that America was putting on these other countries, and you see the numbers of what they put on us, was that eye-opening for you at all, Ryan?
Yeah, because you didn't know, some random country was taxing our fish supply by 700% or something. And these little things have gone unnoticed for a long, long time. So whether you think Trump's going too far with some of them is the question, but some of this stuff had to be addressed.
What about you, Brad?
Yeah, it was eye-opening. I mean, some of these little, I say little countries like Vietnam and whatnot, over 90% tariffs. And, I just don't understand why the United States has to sit there and take it. It's not fair to us, and I'm a free trade advocate, but us paying a 90% tariff to another country while we charge them nothing is not free trade. It's not fair trade. It's nothing. So I'm with Trump on this one. We got to get those tariffs down.
Let's go through some of the responses here on the Annie Fry YouTube chat. Our poll is asking if you're spooked by the stock market. Go to the Annie Fry YouTube channel real quick and vote in the live chat portion of the live broadcast if you want to participate. Vicky says, no, I'm not spooked. It's pretty straight to the point. Russell said, spooked? Yes. Worried? Not really. It's day one. Willing to ride this out for the better. Which kind of, Russell, is, to his point, is what Trump is saying, like, hey, if you want to get to there, we got to go through here. And as we've said multiple times, he has not said that it would be easy peasy. Chris says, no, if I was retiring this week, maybe, but market will correct itself like it always does. Andy said, yes. How can one be at least a little spooked? How can one not be at least a little spooked? Everyone knows this is a massive shift in policy, and the unknowns are spooky. Did they have the same mentality when they were like, we need to throw all this? It's funny to think about, like, the world's going to end because of climate change and everything, and we have to do. If you think about climate hysteria and how much American taxpayer money has been spent on the climate hysteria, it's interesting to me that the spooky part of that was the premise. And after that, once you get people spooked, they're like, okay, take my money.
And then how much of that money did not go to anything at all related to climate?
Ender says, no, for two reasons. I have nothing invested in the stock market yet, though I'm planning to now. And secondly, the market will always inevitably go up, period. Might take some time, but it will always go up. Jeannie said, hell yes, I'm spooked. We just retired 2 years ago, and our financial guy said he's got us living to 92, and we're 68 and 69. I don't want that to change. Say we have, I can't read the rest of that. It's kind of messed up. Jackie said, no, this is necessary short-term discomfort to adjust imbalanced trade agreements for over 35 plus years. We have been ripped off for too long. This is already sparking future growth in our economy. I'm just interested to see how quickly the Trump administration will feel as though they can take victory laps on this. Like, I know they've kind of tried to do a little bit leading up to, I think Israel made a bold statement. Canada made some statements through Ontario. I think India might have.
Yes.
So there were several places that did kind of preliminary, okay, we'll see you and meet you here. The Trump administration is going to have to make the wins known and do it pretty quickly. And then the American people will be able to assess, oh, I see what you got there. That's worth it. I hope do you think we could get any of that by tomorrow? Is that too crazy?
Yeah, it's too crazy. I don't think it'll happen by tomorrow.
One or two opportunities to say that? Well, the YouTube live chat poll for today is, are you spooked by the stock market? Okay, go ahead.
I'm here. Got it. 321 votes. Are you spooked by the stock market? Boy, this was not close today, Annie. 85% say no, 15% say yes.
Wow.
Yeah. You guys You guys are comfy cozy. I like it. Mark Reardon, coming up next. Don't go away.
We are here, another year, 2025, and time to be planning and scheduling your air conditioning startups to make sure you're getting ready to go this summer and got nice, proper cooling and no worries on if your air conditioner is going to make it through the summer. So give us a call. Early bird gets the worm. This is one easy number, Missouri and Illinois. The easiest of numbers, and that number is 314-293-2600. Again, if this is a little early for you, save this number in your phone then in case you do need me or you do forget to have your system checked, and it does break down on you this summer. That number, save it, is 314-293-2600 or bartinman.com. That's Bart with a B. Inman with an I.com. God bless.
Hey guys, Glover here with my very, very good friend, Dr. Kathy Maupin at BioBalanceHealth.com. If you have reached that certain age and you're just not feeling very well and nothing's working the way it used to work, go see Dr. Kathy. She is not only a medical doctor, she is a patient of this bioidentical hormone replacement therapy. It absolutely works. It's a long-term solution. She is an artist when it comes to helping you with your hormones. BioBalanceHealth.com for Dr. Kathy Maupin.
Could you make $500,000 in retirement savings feel like $1 million or $1 million feel like $2 million? You could. But the key is having a comprehensive financial plan for taxes, Social Security, inflation, healthcare, income, and more. It's Sue Thomas. And if you want to discover how you could make your money go a lot further in retirement, try this 3-hour adult education class called Retirement Planning 101. It's a one-night class. It's taught by a fiduciary advisor from Financial and Tax Architects with decades of financial planning experience. They are held at colleges and libraries throughout St. Louis. There's no cost, but they ask that you bring 3 canned goods for St. Louis Crisis Nursery. If you have saved $300,000 or more for retirement, register by calling 314-947-2012, 314-947-2012. That's 314-947-2012.
This is attorney Todd Nissenholtz of Kaufman Townsley. We know the loss and the cost of an accident because when an insurance company offers a lowball settlement, we go to war for you and take the fight to the insurance company. Call 314-500-5000.
Weekday mornings at 9.
See, here's what bothers me, this statement. I was stunned to hear that.
The Brian Kilmeade Show.
What does that have to do with running the country?
Brian Kilmeade on 97.1.
I get it.
FM Talk. KFTK FM Florissant from the Kaufman Townsley St. Louis's Injury Lawyers Studio. Call 314-500-5000.
That's 314-500-5000.
All on the free Odyssey app.
Alert, a plunge on Wall Street. I'm Lisa Brady. The Dow down more than 1,600 points at the bell as global markets react to new U.S. tariffs, anxious about the potential ripple effects. But President Trump says he thinks it's going very well.
The thing that people have to talk about, we're up almost to $7 trillion of investment coming into our country. And you'll see how it's going to turn out. Our country's going to boom.
Also telling reporters the rest of the world is now interested in making a deal. Canada is not targeted in his new reciprocal policy, but the prime minister announcing retaliatory auto tariffs. And there's some bipartisan concern in Congress.
Republican Senator Chuck Grassley and Democrat Marie Cantwell introducing the Trade Review Act, which would require a president to have tariffs reviewed by Congress.
We think Congress should reassert its role and have those policies come before Congress for review and approval or disapproval.
Cantwell says the bill would force the president to explain the reasoning for new tariffs within 48 hours, and those tariffs would expire after 60 days unless approved by Congress.
Fox's Ryan Schmel is on the Hill. A new review of a controversial group chat.
The acting inspector general of the Defense Department says the agency is looking into the use of the
the Signal messaging app to convey strike plans against Houthi targets in Yemen. It follows The Atlantic magazine publishing messages about those airstrikes in a group chat that inadvertently included the magazine's editor-in-chief. The group also included the vice president, national security advisor, and intelligence officials.
Fox's Jared Halpern at the White House. The national security advisor has taken responsibility for setting up the chat. The Pentagon watchdog's probe will include whether the defense chief violated policy by discussing attack plans there. Secretary Pete Hegseth has denied including any classified material. America is listening to Fox News.
I'm still going for it, even with higher stroke risk from atrial fibrillation, an irregular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Over a 3-year study, Eliquis apixaban tablets reduce stroke risk better than warfarin, and over 97% of Eliquis patients did not experience a stroke. A first stroke occurred in 2.9% of warfarin patients versus 2.3% of Eliquis patients.
Don't stop taking prescription Eliquis without asking your doctor. It may increase your stroke risk. Eliquis can cause serious and in rare cases fatal bleeding. Don't take Eliquis if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or take longer for bleeding to stop. A spinal injection while on Eliquis increases